What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to BMF Radio. My name is Frankie,
I'm Billy.
and we made it. Happy New Year, guys! It is 2024, first upload of the year.
Yeah,
How was your New Year?
it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, didn't get up to much. What about you?
nothing crazy. Hung out with the family. Pretty
Oh, yeah.
quaint little event.
hmm
But speaking of the New Year, we've got lots of exciting things to talk about. Today, we're going to cover new games coming out this first half of the year and new movies that we want to talk about coming out this first half of the year. So let's go ahead. The movies will be on the second half of the video. So if you want to see that, stick around for that. But let's get into the games.
Yeah.
We've got a kind of a top 10. Obviously, that's subjective. Maybe you have a game that you're really excited to see release. Put it in the comments below. Let us know if we missed something that you guys are excited about.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. What's
Yeah.
the first one on our agenda here?
First one we got coming up January 26th, Tekken 8.
Yes, that
This
one is.
year.
So, have you played Tekken?
No, I have not played a Tekken game.
Well, it'll make you feel better to know I haven't either.
Okay.
So,
So we can play it together?
yeah, and I won't totally destroy
Yeah.
you. So Tekken 8, something really important about this launch is it's going to be the first massive fighting game that is going to be on Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
going to
big
look
deal.
incredible,
Mhm.
hopefully run incredible.
Mhm.
And so Tekken has been around since, at least I know, so I played Soul Calibur when I
Okay.
was a kid, which is another three-dimensional fighting game.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, okay.
and I played it on the PS2.
Mhm.
So that came out in 2002, I think, 2002 or 3. And Tekken was out on the PS2 in 2001. So
Mhm.
very similar games, but Tekken came first, I believe.
Okay.
But I mean, if you don't know what Tekken is, you probably just don't play fighting games.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
it's a huge
yeah, huge
fighting game.
Yeah.
So that one is coming out, but I want to talk a little bit about Unreal Engine 5.
Okay. Yeah.
For those who don't know really much about it. So it's not only the most powerful engine
Mhm.
in terms of being able to render things quickly, but it's
Yeah.
also, hopefully, from what I've heard, I don't know much, you probably know more, but
Maybe.
it's also the most optimized
Yeah.
engine, right? So
Yeah.
I think I saw a video of someone rendering like 1,000,000 donuts on like a 90s computer.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So performance-wise, it's really, really impressive. So I'm super
Huh.
excited to see what they can do with a fighting game,
yeah.
especially one like Tekken. That's so. Have you seen gameplay of Tekken?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
little bit?
I know generally what Tekken is.
Yeah.
If that's what you're asking.
Tekken is a much more flashy fighting game
Yeah.
than a lot of them. At least when you're looking at like Mortal Kombat, right? Which is my personal favorite. I grew up on it.
Real quick. So Tekken, it's 3D, right? It's a
Yeah.
3D fighter.
I believe
um,
so.
So is that similar to like Mortal Kombat?
Deception.
Deception, right?
Yeah, the
okay.
3D era of
Okay.
MK,
Yeah.
which is Mortal Kombat Deception and Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, I believe, was the two big ones.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it is like that. It does
Yeah.
play similar to that.
Okay.
But Tekken, their visual effects have always been like grandiose,
Mm-hmm.
and really out there. So I'm excited to see what they do with Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
I think that'll be. I hope they take advantage of it.
yeah.
With a game like Tekken, I think they will.
I could imagine they probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat is kind of now leaning more into it.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting more flashy effects. Like you've seen gameplay of MK1.
Yes. Yeah.
And they have more particle effects and lights.
yeah.
And so,
Yes, definitely.
yeah,
Yes.
a lot more visually entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool. I haven't played Tekken either, like I said, but I think with Tekken 8 coming out from Unreal Engine 5, maybe
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to play it with you.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So that is number one. And these aren't in any order. So just take it how it comes, but these aren't in any order. These are just kind of the big ones that we've found are coming out.
yeah. The next one, Persona 3 remake.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. I haven't
Yeah.
played any of the Personas.
Okay.
Have
I
you?
haven't either.
Yeah, and I don't really know much about it. I know it's a more dialogue heavy.
Yes, and that is why I've never touched the Persona games.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exactly why?
Yeah.
That's fair.
My experience with Japanese games with that much dialogue, in any kind of game, I hate sitting through dialogue. And I've seen gameplay of the Persona ones, and it's totally not my thing.
Yeah, and I have no
But-
doubt that a game that has, like, if it, like Persona 3, I have no doubt that a game with that much dialogue is probably really good dialogue.
Yeah.
I have no doubts about that. But for me, it's like it's too much. I just feel like I'm mashing A
Yes.
to just get through it.
Yes.
Monster Hunter is a victim of that. Oh my
Seriously.
gosh. I mean, you're just sitting there spamming it.
I know. But at least Monster Hunter's gameplay is so fun that I can totally look past that.
Yeah, and that is one thing about Persona. Every time I see gameplay of it, it's text chat. It's
that's the only thing I see.
I know nothing else about that game.
Yeah.
So if you guys are excited for a Persona game, then you should know they're making a remake of it.
Yeah.
Persona 3. When did these come out, by the way?
Yeah.
Tekken 8, I believe, is
January 26th.
January 26th. Is that the release date or announced
The
date?
release date.
Wow. That's coming up.
Yeah, this month.
Yeah, so maybe if you guys want to see me play that, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/bountyhunter567. Go check me out. It's a little turtle soldier. And then
the Persona 3 remake is February 2nd.
February 2nd.
So also very close.
Yeah, so these are awesome.
Yeah.
We got some good games coming for us.
The other one is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
This one is one I want to talk a little bit more about.
Yeah.
So Suicide Squad, I believe this is a second Suicide Squad game.
Okay.
I think there was, I'm sure that there was a one that came out before and it was kind of a flop.
Okay.
A lot of people thought the gameplay was pretty bland. The story was meh, and it just wasn't that impressive. A lot of people compared it to Marvel Avengers.
Okay.
Have you seen gameplay of that?
There's been so many Avengers games that
the most recent one. Have you seen that? I'll save you all the work. It's dog shit.
Okay. Yeah.
The Spider-Man is a character in Marvel's Avengers. The Spider-Man swinging in that game. I'll have to show you a clip for anyone who does know what I'm talking about. Though the original Spider-Man 1 game with Tobey Maguire as the voice actor, it was one swinging animation. Right?
Yeah.
And if you touched the ground, you die. Like it was.
Oh, okay.
It's an old game.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
But that was like the animation of
Just
Spider-Man
the one.
swinging in a like 2020 game. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Okay.
And so a lot of people compared the first Suicide Squad to that. It was like, this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But high hopes for the Suicide Squad. What is the full name of it?
Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Kill the Justice League. Right. So the story, it seems pretty interesting.
It does seem pretty interesting.
Tell them what the story is.
So the story is like Brainiac takes over all the Justice League.
Yeah.
And just makes them evil.
Yeah.
Presumably, and they have to go kill them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I can already see the possibilities with that. Superman, what do they even do? Right? We talked about this kind of last podcast. Like Superman is just
we did. Yeah.
Unkillable.
Pretty
what
much.
do you do with him?
And so I think Superman, that's such a good tool when you turn him evil.
Yes.
All of a sudden, having a hero that's untouchable, boring.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Yes,
I know
yes.
a lot of people love Superman, whatever. It's okay. We're talking about fictional characters.
Yeah.
But making him a villain that's indestructible. Now all of a sudden you've got tension, suspense, challenges.
Yes.
It's much better writing, I feel, to have a villain that's like, I have one weakness and good fucking luck getting a hold of it.
Yeah. I think it could be a really cool game.
Yeah, and I hope that they save Superman and is like the last Justice Squad member that you have to fight.
Yeah.
Save him as a late game boss.
Yes.
Where hopefully you have to have good equipment, good game knowledge, and all that. I think that's a really good opportunity. So I'm actually excited for that game. Some of the gameplay looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of kind of Spider-Man 2. We saw Harley Quinn. We watched a little bit of gameplay of it.
Right.
We saw Harley Quinn kind of swinging around. And then we saw, what is that big ass shark's name?
I don't know.
Sharkman, we'll call him. Sorry, guys. But let us know what his name is. But so the shark guy, he has like a very big leap, and that's kind of his mobility. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that if they do it right and they don't treat it as like a shitty launch, like a live service, let's update as it goes. I think it could be really good.
Yes.
That's one I'll be picking up for sure. I'll be trying that out and seeing how it goes.
And that one is also February 2nd.
Oh, is it? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything else we got on that one. So keep an eye out for that one. That's pretty exciting. What else do we got coming up?
Skull and Bones.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
this one is being pretty much blatantly advertised as like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but it's like just the ships. Just
Yeah.
the ships and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Made by Ubisoft.
Yeah. I think specifically Singapore.
Yeah,
Singapore
Ubisoft
team.
Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you played Black Flag.
Yeah.
For anyone who hasn't, you're missing out on like a huge piece of gaming.
Seriously.
Monumental gaming episode right there. I mean, the ship combat, I genuinely don't think I've seen a game beat it.
No.
And we have games like Sea of Thieves
yes, which
that is just based all around that. And I don't think
don't
it
think
beats it.
it's-
I don't think it comes close.
I don't think it comes even close. Yeah.
So having and now I have my opinions about Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Ubisoft is also the publisher / studio behind Rainbow Six.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and all of the recent Assassin's Creed games.
have been a flop.
Oof.
I actually think they've lost money on the most recent ones, haven't they?
I
Or
think-
is that
I think the most recent one was the Valhalla one.
oh
I think
yeah.
that one did decently well.
decent. Yeah.
I heard
I
good things
heard-
about it. Anyway.
I heard good things, but I also heard bad things.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that it was really buggy. I saw that like it had more of a Dark Souls inspiration, it seemed, where you're dodging big attacks and stuff.
Okay.
But it was buggy, so it didn't feel like, oh, I'm in control of when I get hit.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I saw.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's a good thing that they decided after that, hey, let's get away from that.
yeah.
Let's go to what we know,
Mm-hmm.
which is ship combat. And I've seen a little bit of gameplay. We watched the trailer of it.
Mhm.
It looked pretty good.
It looks cool. Yeah.
There was a couple. Can I see those notes?
Yeah.
There was a couple demos for the game, and a lot of people came back from that feeling, at least reportedly, optimistic about the
Yeah.
game.
It looked like there was a closed beta sometime in December.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it looked pretty cool, but
Something to note about this game as well. You might have heard about it. It had been announced under a couple different names.
yeah.
And I don't remember what they were, but it's been in development hell
Yeah.
for quite a bit. It was
How much?
announced originally in 2013. Yeah, so it's been
Okay.
11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
okay.
they're hoping that this is going to make them some big bucks back because it also has reportedly cost over 120 million
Yeah.
to develop this game. So that's big.
Yeah. And I think with that number specifically, 120 million, the game either has to sell really well or it's going to go to a live service game.
Yeah,
And knowing Ubisoft,
they're probably going to take the live service route.
yeah.
But the thing is, like, if you have a game where the gameplay is just that addictive, then okay, fine. Now, something I will commend Ubisoft for doing is, as far as I know, so a lot of people hate the Battle Pass system,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Which I'm one of them. I think
Yes.
the Battle Pass.
Me too.
I mean, if you pay for a game like Fortnite, I get it. I get why they did it.
yes.
They're a free game. They're giving
Mhm.
you so much content, all these partnerships and all that. They need money.
Yeah. That is
somehow
how they make money.
off that
The
game.
only thing.
Yeah.
It's not sales. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
But you have a game like Rainbow Six
Mhm.
where you pay full premium price for that game,
Yeah.
and there's still a battle pass.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm going to give Ubisoft the credit for is they didn't get rid of packs.
Yeah.
So for the people who still like to, and I'm not saying packs are a good thing, but I'll take like crates, loot boxes, packs. I'll take that over a battle pass.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally.
Yeah.
One person who really fucked it up on battle passes was Diablo 4, which Blizzard, we could get on and on about Blizzard as a
Yeah.
whole company.
I
but-
didn't even know that had a battle pass.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah. Which for those of you who don't know, Diablo
Man.
4 is a $70 game. $70 full
Right.
premium price.
Yeah.
And they have a battle pass.
Yeah. And look at Modern Warfare. They also have a battle pass.
But Modern Warfare at least makes it to where, and this is where I'll say battle passes get a pass for me.
Okay.
Is if I buy the battle pass,
Okay.
you better give me enough credits to buy the next one. One time perk
Okay.
is if I save and save and save, I can get the next one. Right?
Yeah.
I like that. Fortnite does it.
Mm-hmm.
Modern Warfare, like you're saying, does it.
Okay.
So if you buy the Battle Pass in Modern Warfare, you'll
Yeah.
get the next one if you
Okay.
don't spend them. Diablo 4? No.
Mhm.
They
I
did the
guess.
math.
Yeah.
You're off by about
Mm.
2 points.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's ridiculous. So shit like that is just like, I mean, and you know, we just released a video on the downfall of Marvel. We could probably do a video on the downfall of Blizzard.
Yeah.
Blizzard was an amazing company. When WoW came out,
Mm-hmm.
they were big dogs,
They were. Yeah.
and they're not.
They are so not.
They destroyed their image in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Not just from like the unfinished games and all that, but then like sexual harassment claims and
Oh yeah.
oof.
Oh, yeah. The there's a man, I don't remember his name, but he kind of when all of that happened. So the CEO had stepped down,
Mm-hmm.
and they found a guy in the within the company, and they made him
Okay.
the CEO.
Okay.
Long black hair, right?
Okay.
Within a year, that's when the lawsuits happened. It was when this guy stepped up.
Okay.
Next year, we saw him again, all gray.
Really?
Yeah,
Oof.
they destroyed that man. The company
Dang.
just.
Yeah.
I'm not vouching for him, but damn, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude's life went from like, I'm part of a big successful company
Mhm.
to I'm the owner or chief executive of a shit show,
Yeah.
you know?
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one thing. So back onto Skulls. What is it called? What's the name of the game?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and
Yes.
Bones.
Skull
So
and Bones.
that's coming out. What's the release date?
February 16th. On
February
that one.
16th. So we've got a lot of opinions on that
We'll
one.
have to see where that one goes, I guess.
If they can even come close to mimicking the ship combat that was in Black Flag, which is what they're saying it is. They're
Yeah,
saying it's
right.
it's pretty much its successor
Yes.
in terms of gameplay, then that's a good game.
Yeah. Seriously.
And if you like ship games, if you did enjoy Sea of Thieves, if you
Mhm.
liked Black Flag,
yeah.
this is going to be one for you.
Mm-hmm.
If they do it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like we're going to be following a lot of these on the list with if they do it right.
yes.
Because unfortunately,
Sure.
and you guys, gamers all around, have seen that unfortunately developers, they're really good at letting us down
yes.
in the recent times.
and especially I think Ubisoft in the past little
Yes,
bit.
Ubisoft
So,
is not on the same level as Blizzard,
no.
but
But-
they've made some scummy decisions.
Yeah.
They really have.
Yeah.
It all comes down to greed.
Yeah.
But that's a cool one. I can commend them for not taking it out of development hell. Typically, what I see when games are in development for that long is they're just like, fuck this,
release it.
or release it, or just take it out.
Yeah.
We're not gonna release it. Fuck it. Just scrap it.
Mm-hmm.
That is shitty, especially when you announced it, earlier. So I'm really glad that they stuck with it
Yeah.
through development hell.
Yeah.
One more time for my sake. What is the release date on that?
February 16th.
16th.
Skull
So
and Bones.
really, really
February
close.
16th. Mm-hmm.
That's one I'll be picking up too. I want to try that out. I
Yeah.
loved Black Flag.
Yes, I did too. I'll
was-
watch for this one, but
Yeah. I'll probably wait to
Yeah.
see a couple reviews on it.
yeah.
If you guys want to do the same for these lists, Game Ranks. I have to give him a shout out. It's probably not going to do anything for his channel, but he does really good videos that you might like
Mhm.
as well.
Okay.
Before you buy. Have you seen that?
yes, I have
Yeah.
seen those. Yes.
So for all of these, I would recommend watching those videos.
oh yeah, for sure.
But okay, what do we got next on the list?
Next, Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. So, oh man, what is his name? Martin Brenner
Okay.
is a star of this game,
Mhm.
and I think this is a remake, isn't it?
Yes, they mentioned this was a remake.
Yeah. I'm not sure of what game.
I think
It's
it's,
a
just
remake?
Alone in the Dark.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they got Martin Brenner on the team for
Mhm.
this. Which, if you don't know, he's he's 1 or 11. He's 11's father in Stranger Things.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yes.
they mocapped him in there,
Mhm.
which is pretty cool.
Yes, and it looked pretty good too. I recognized his face, and I was like, "Is it that guy?" I don't know.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's really interesting. It looks, and I have known nothing about this game. I know a
Me
little bit of
neither.
gameplay, but it does look very familiar to like Resident Evil type of
Yeah.
games. The gameplay looked really similar to that.
Yeah, it was very dark, very atmospheric.
Yeah.
Third person as well from
Right
behind
over the shoulder.
Yeah.
So if you guys liked Resident Evil games, that's one to check out. I think
Mhm.
that might be up your alley.
Yeah. And right now they have a demo. It's called Grace in the Dark.
Oh, okay.
And that's like a prequel chapter to the game.
Oh, all right.
So, or a prologue to the game.
So
I
yeah,
guess.
you guys can go ahead and check that out, I guess.
The full release is March 20th though on that one.
March 20th.
Mhm.
Okay. And what platforms are these coming out on?
I didn't have that one marked, but I have most of these others. I think all of them have been PC and new series consoles
Okay.
so far.
Gotcha. Which makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
That's what we can expect from now on.
Right.
I don't think we can do much more complaining about something not coming on the last gen consoles. They've been out. The new gen consoles have been out long enough. I think that
Yeah.
we can't expect them to be porting them to the old consoles anymore.
That being said, though, I do agree because I'm pretty sure in game development, they have to then take that game that they've made for these new series and try to make it work on these old series. So I get that like dilemma.
Yeah.
But I do think the Xbox One and the PS4 are still genuinely like powerful machines.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen really good games on those. So
Yeah.
I think it is a marketing excuse.
I do kind of feel like it's an excuse, but
At the same time, what do you expect? I mean, when
Yeah.
they come out with a new console, they're going to ultimately switch over to that.
yeah, and that's what's happened every generation.
Yeah,
So
we can't expect different. But I will agree. I mean, we saw God of War come out on the PS4, and that game looked great
yeah,
on the PS4.
yeah, exactly.
So, and even like Monster Hunter World, I think came out on consoles, and that did fine.
Yeah.
Runs perfectly. I played it on console for the first bit.
Yeah,
So I still think that the Xbox. What is the one before the new one? The Xbox names always confuse me.
Xbox One
is
the
the old
older
gen?
gen,
Okay.
and then the Xbox Series is the new.
What about
gen.
Xbox Series X?
That's part of the series. That's like the better one. There's a Series X
Like
and a
PS5
Series S.
Pro? Like that's like the
I think that's what they're comparable to. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but
Games being ported.
oh
New
yeah,
games coming out.
So the PS4 and the Xbox One, I think, are still very powerful pieces of equipment. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, but it's
We
kind
can't
of
really
like-
expect them. I mean, how old are they now? I mean, how long have the new gen consoles been out? Like 2-3 years?
Yeah, it
Somewhere
has
around
to
there.
be that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next one we have on this list is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, another Final Fantasy VII.
I know.
Okay, I think I genuinely fundamentally don't understand what Final Fantasy VII is, but it seems like Final Fantasy VII has been released 7 or 8 times.
Really? I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Well, I don't know.
I know that the one coming out right now that we're talking about, what's the release date on this one?
May 29th.
May 29th.
Yes.
So that's coming out May 29th. Let me take a look here. Give me 1 second, guys.
Mhm.
Yeah. For a minute. Oh, okay. So this is good to know. So it's actually coming out February 29th for the PS5, but it's only on the PS5.
Right. Yes.
And then it will be coming to PC at least on May 29th. So it could be sooner, but PC will come out on May 29th. And their excuse was that it's not coming to PS4 due to the SSD speed.
Right. Yeah, I saw that was like specifically why it's not on the PS4, which that's kind of a weird. Unless they're taking, because these new gen consoles have some sort of like booting up thing that makes their SSDs really fast to get into games. So if this is taking advantage of that technology, sure.
But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that the old gen consoles were on hard drives still. I thought that they didn't even have SSDs. Or am I tripping on that?
You might be tripping on that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. The Xbox One that my family had an SSD.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, then they probably do.
Yeah.
Maybe just a slower one.
Yeah, probably.
One thing. So I haven't played the Final Fantasy sevens.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to make note that yes, I think you're right. A lot of them have come out,
Yeah.
and it's getting to the point where it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This one, however, so
Mhm.
the last one that came out was a remake of Final Fantasy VII,
Uh-huh.
and this is like the part 2 to that
Okay.
that remake. There's 2 discs for this recent remake, and this is the one coming out. Is the part 2.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
one thing.
Sure.
Something cool about this remake, though, that I don't know if you guys know or not, is I guess it's like a time loop. They kind of threw that into the story of
Okay.
these remakes. So
Mhm.
there is certain differences that pop up.
Yeah.
So you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
And that's something worth noting.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's
you
a
still-
way to do a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still get a remake,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also things that you're not going to be seeing, for the,
Mhm.
or you will be seeing for the first time. still.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have played Final Fantasy. I'm going to butcher this. Dissidia? I don't know.
Okay.
That one, though.
Mm-hmm.
I played that on the PSP.
Okay.
And it was, I believe, one of the first ones to be a Final Fantasy game that wasn't turn-based.
okay.
Yeah. And I love that game. I played it when I was like 10 or 11,
Uh-huh.
beat it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really fun game, especially on the PSP.
Yeah.
Just take that everywhere. So I actually think I might get back into Final Fantasy 7
Okay.
or Final Fantasy in general.
Right.
I saw some gameplay of this Final Fantasy that's coming out, the remake, and
Yeah.
it actually reminded me a lot of Monster Hunter,
Okay.
which I know I talk about that game a lot, but I
You do.
love
Yeah.
it. And I can see why that would make sense. They're both JRPGs.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so considering it's like still new content and a remake,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah. I don't love JRPGs though.
Yeah.
If you didn't really push for me to get into Monster Hunter, I don't think I ever really would have gotten into it
Which is fair.
because of the JRPG aspect of it.
Yeah.
This Final Fantasy VII remake, probably not something I'm gonna pick up.
Fair. I
But-
think I will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot
Yeah.
because the open world aspect,
Right.
this
Yeah.
looks awesome. One thing I have a lot of respect for is that the devs on Final Fantasy play the shit out of their game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a showing
good
of
to
the
see.
last Final Fantasy 7 that came out
Mhm.
before this one, and the person who was showing it was a dev,
Mm-hmm.
and he like perfectly defeated one of these massive bosses
Oh,
on high difficulty.
Yeah.
He was like parrying every attack, comboing the shit out
That's
of it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone while watching this release of the dev playing it was like, "Oh, holy shit! He's
Yeah.
he's parried it! Holy shit!"
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it shows a lot in the gameplay when the devs play their fucking
Yeah.
game.
Seriously.
So
Yeah.
that is really cool. So that's coming out.
February 29th on PS5.
Right.
And then the PC port will be probably May 29th.
Yeah. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that in
Mhm.
May.
Yeah.
So cool. What do we got?
The next one we got up here is Homeworld.
What number is this, by the way?
Homeworld 3. Oh, on our list,
Mhm.
7.
Homeworld 3. Yeah, that's an RTS.
Yeah, and it said it was a remake, or not a remake, but like the original one came out in the 90s.
Yep.
Um,
I've never heard of that game.
I've never heard of this game either, but RTS, hey.
Yeah,
I like
you like
RTS.
RTS a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even think I understand RTS.
Yeah.
When it comes to strategy games, I like games like Baldur's Gate.
Right. Yes.
or DOS 2.
Yes.
What even is, I guess, what makes an RTS an RTS?
It's pretty much, I mean, you're doing some of the same calculations. Like, oh, I could do this if I move these troops. Most of them have been like troop based and like
Like Age of
base
Empire?
building. Yes, exactly like
gotcha.
that.
Okay.
That's most of the RTS I've played. And so you're making all of these decisions, but it's real time strategy.
I see.
So there's no pausing.
No turns.
Yeah, the clock is always going.
And I think that's what's pushed me away from them
Mhm.
is you've seen me play Magic with you.
Oh, yeah.
I pause. I
Yes, you
sit
do.
there and I'm like, let me think of everything that could happen ever.
And no, and then me, I'm just like, oh, I know what I have. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap 8. Yeah.
Yep.
And so real-time strategy games stress me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And so it's not a game that I personally could like hop on and be like, let me relax for the day and play my RTS.
I know. Yeah.
I stress out.
I stress out too, but that's
But
like
you enjoy that.
I enjoy
that
the stress.
rush.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
When is that one coming out?
That one's coming out March 8th.
Yeah, and so a little bit more info on that one. What was the name of this again?
Homeworld 3.
Homeworld 3. It looks like it is an RTS game that is based in space.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of it, and it looked like if you enjoy like some RTS games that Star Wars has released in the past,
Mm-hmm.
then you might like this.
Yeah.
That might be a good one for you.
Yeah.
It looked very space combat heavy.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Not one I'm going to be checking out.
Yeah.
RTS is not for me.
Yeah. Definitely
all.
one I'll be looking
Yeah.
at.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The next one we got on here is Mario versus Donkey Kong remake. So the original one on this came out on the Game Boy Advanced in 2004.
Yep. Which
Yeah.
shout out to all my Game Boy players out there.
Yeah.
If you had one of those, you're a real gamer, man.
Yeah, no, not me. Not me, unfortunately.
So it came out on the Game Boy Advance, and I don't think I played it. I played one that was similar, where you were collecting toys instead of protecting Princess Peach.
Okay.
But that's the concept of this one. So it's definitely like a successor to Donkey Kong on the Game Boy and the Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it's got more Mario like platform aspect.
Yeah. But it's still kind of like it looks really interesting because it's like you have to get up here to the top, kind of like the original like arcade Donkey
DK?
Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you have all these puzzles to solve along the way.
Yeah,
as you get
keys
up
to
there.
open up doors.
Yeah,
you gotta
something like
collect the
that.
little Mario toy in the corner. If you're a Nintendo fan, you'll probably enjoy that.
Yeah.
I like I've said in the past, if you know this channel, if you know me, I'm not really a Nintendo person, so I'm not gonna be checking it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to interest me that much.
Yeah, the puzzles aren't as difficult as I want them to be.
Yep.
So I just gravitate towards harder games.
Me too. And
So-
not saying that you're less of a gamer for playing it. If you
No.
like Mario,
Yeah.
then of course you're gonna check that out.
Yeah.
When is that one coming out?
That one's coming out. Sorry. Let me. Oh my. That one's coming out February 16th as well.
Okay, so that's a sooner one. So
Yeah.
that'll be good for all the Nintendo guys out there.
Yeah, a lot of these are coming out in the next like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, we might have to do another video on this for just
Yeah,
the coming months, not even the
honestly.
second half of the year.
Yeah, seriously.
Which is good news. I'm always going to take games coming out
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're good quality games. Not
And not
Pieces of
rushed
shit.
out the door. Yeah. The next one we had was Rise of Ronin.
Oh yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that one,
It looks very similar to, I know Sekiro, Die Twice, which is a Souls game.
yes.
There's also another one that's on the PlayStation. What one's that one called?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, very reminiscent of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you played Neo, it's the same studio as those guys.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna have and if you look at the gameplay, it looks pretty similar to Neo,
Mm-hmm.
but it does seem like it draws some inspiration from like Dark Souls
Yeah.
in this one. It's gonna be a little bit more dodgy and precise combat.
Yeah. It just one of the trailer we watched for this game, it looked actually they did a move that looked so similar to Sekiro.
Really?
So yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like it's taking inspiration from other like Asian culture games that have worked,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
That is cool.
That's one that I actually might check out myself.
Me too.
When it comes to like Souls-like games, I didn't play Neo, but my introduction for Souls-likes was like, well, I guess From Software was Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've been really more accepting of the idea to play Souls-like games.
Yeah.
And so I'll be checking that one out.
Yeah.
That one looks pretty good.
Yeah. My first Souls game was actually Sekiro. The very first one that I
that's
sat
a
down
rough
and
one
played.
to start on.
Kind of. But I think the Sekiro is so different than the other Souls-like because you only have one weapon the whole game. And it's like that starting sword. So it forces you to kind of play how they want you to play, not how Dark Souls is played. So it was actually really easy to just go in and learn it because I didn't have to unlearn anything from other Souls games.
And that is one thing about Sekiro. I played a little bit of it. I got into it and was just like, wow, this is way fucking harder than all the other Souls-likes I've played.
Yeah.
But I know so many people say it's the best From Software game,
Mm-hmm.
which is fair. That what you're talking about, how there's no weapons,
Yeah.
like it just forces you to do that. You learn the combat so much more intensely
Yeah.
because you're not like, oh, I have the guts sword from this area. I'm just gonna fucking whack on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to learn parries. What is it even called?
The
Stance.
stances. Yes.
Stance, breaking their stance. Yeah,
Mhm.
which is really cool. I did really like that in Sekiro.
Yeah. It's a cool game. Yeah.
Yeah. But I picked it up and was like, holy shit, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so
Yeah.
much harder to me than the other Souls-like games I've played.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck, if you're a Souls-like fan, that's what you want really.
Exactly.
Is a harder one.
Yeah. And that one, oh, you said you wanted to check this one out.
Yeah.
Except it is a PS5 exclusive.
Oh man, are you kidding me?
Nope.
Wow.
Coming out March 22nd.
Okay.
A little bit of a
Damn.
bummer,
A little bit, yeah.
but good
Well,
to know.
if you got a PS5, then that's an exciting one.
Mhm.
If you like Souls-like games as well as the Neo series, then that'll be a really good one for you to pick
Yeah,
up.
it does look really cool. Yeah. The next one is Dragon's Dogma 2.
And this is the last one on our list.
This is the
right?
last one on this list.
So, Dragon's Dogma, the first one had a little bit of backlash.
I've never even heard of this game.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
So
you're gonna have to fill me in on this.
I don't know that much about it either. But I know the first one had a little bit of backlash, saying it was kind of poor execution.
Okay.
This one seems to be taking everything that was great about Dragon's Dogma 1 and enhancing that.
Yeah.
One thing to note about this game is that they have said it's in a parallel world. So it's not going to be like a direct sequel to Dragon's Dogma 1.
Okay.
But it's going to be the successor. So it's Dragon's Dogma 2, but it's going to be in a different world. And it's not going to have anything to do with the first one.
Okay. So it's like a canon reset kind of thing.
Yeah, they're looking
probably.
like a reset, which is
Yeah.
good, I think, considering they got backlash.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
think that's the right step to take for that. Now, the one thing I do know about Dogma is I've seen the gameplay.
Yeah.
Whoa, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Fellowship of the Ring,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
if you
The
kind
Lord
of
the
want,
Rings.
yeah, but if you want like an experience that kind of feels like that world or that idea of me and my band or party of 4, are going to go on this massive quest and fight anything from ogres and trolls to massive fucking creatures.
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma is a really good, at least the second one is looking like it's a really good experience for that. There
cool.
is some gameplay released,
Oh.
I think on IGN. So if you want to see gameplay of it,
Oh.
go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked really good. There's a bunch of playstyles. You have like heavy fighters that just have
Okay.
a big ass sword.
Yeah.
And you can have your sorcerers imbue that sword with like fire.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then you've got like obviously the mages and the archers and stuff like that in the back.
And is it made to be multiplayer then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a multiplayer preferred experience.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can play it like as a single player. I think you'd have a hard ass time defeating some of these monsters.
Yeah.
I don't know what monster it was, but in the gameplay I was watching, there's like this werewolf thing and it just straight up drop kicks you. And in this game, if you fall off into the water, you die.
Oh. Okay.
Water's poison or whatever, you guys get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it just drop kicks you, and like in this gameplay, you just see all of these party members getting fucking flung, and so
Wow.
it looks pretty intense.
Yeah.
It looks like a really good mixture of like I'm laughing because fucking Billy just got thrown across the map, but also he's dead now, so
Yeah.
holy shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah. That is cool. And they said it was inspired by GTA 5. The developers
Really?
took inspiration from
Huh.
GTA 5.
That's pretty interesting. I
Yeah.
wonder what they're gonna do because in a game like that's medieval, kind of
Medieval kind of like world.
yeah, I wonder what they're going to do with inspiration from a game like GTA.
Yeah, which is a very modern and open world. So is this game going to be open world then?
I think so.
I'm assuming, yeah.
I think it will be. It could be open linear.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It could be
Yeah.
that from the gameplay that I saw, it looked like it could go both ways.
Okay.
But either way, it looked really, really good.
Yeah.
There's interactive environment stuff. I saw there was a troll that they had to fight, and they took an explosive barrel they found and threw it at a couple rocks, like a dam, and it flooded the ogre
Oh.
and gave him about 30 seconds of like free damage on the monster.
That's cool.
So it looks like there's going to be some pretty cool stuff, pretty cool
Yeah.
interactions in that game.
Yeah, being able to like trap enemies and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is something that's massive in games with big creatures, especially humanoid creatures like trolls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have to reward your player for being smart.
Yeah.
If your player is like, oh, it's a humanoid, I want to do a lot of damage to it, therefore I'm going to hit it in the head.
Yeah.
You have to reward players for that type of thing. And so things like, oh, what happens if I take this dam and explode it the fuck up? You need to reward those players because
Yeah.
that is a good system of
Yeah.
having those moments where you're like, I like this game because it makes me feel smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need that in the game.
Yes.
Now we've got let's see. We've got two things I wanted to talk about. That's it for the top 10. I mean,
Well,
this first half of the year.
Yeah. And that game comes out March 22nd.
Oh,
I don't know if
thank
we
you.
mentioned that.
March
Yeah.
22nd. I'm definitely going to be picking up Dogma.
Yeah.
And I hope you do too.
Yeah. And if you pick it up, I might play it with you because
Okay.
that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah,
that
that would
sounds
be
pretty
awesome.
Fun.
So there's two games that are coming out in 2025 that I
Mhm.
want to talk about.
Okay.
The first one is Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, surprised.
Yeah.
The Monster Hunter guy wants to talk about Monster Hunter.
Shut the fuck up. So, Monster Hunter Wilds, we've only seen one trailer, I believe, for it. If there's another one, please let me know. But
Okay.
and it looks like so in Monster Hunter World,
Mhm.
there was no mounts, and in all previous games, there's no mounts, right?
Yeah.
So when you have to sharpen, heal, craft, you have to
Yes.
sit there and do all of that.
Yes.
On the mounts that they introduced in Iceborne, you can do all that on the go,
Hmm.
which is really, really big.
And Iceborne was a DLC
Yes,
for
for World.
World.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where it first got introduced.
When the fuck do I get a mount then?
Do you have Iceborne?
Oh, no.
And then you'll never get one.
Oh. Okay. Well, that answers that.
Yeah, when you pay up.
Okay.
So Monster Hunter World introduced it. A lot of positive feedback for that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
And now in their kind of mobile or light title, Rise, mounts are like always a thing. You can choose between having the Palico or the Palamute,
Okay.
which is the dog. The
Okay.
dog is the mount, right? Palico is the cat.
Okay.
So you got a Palico right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And so there's the choice of that. If you're running single player, you get both.
Oh, cool.
And the difference is the Palicos, they collect items for you, they scavenge, they bring you heals in the middle of fights,
Mm.
but a dog will actually help attack, just like the Palico will. It will help attack the monster, and it is a mount, right?
Oh, okay.
So you have the option.
Yeah.
What I'm excited for in Wilds, which is
Mhm.
coming in 2025, is how they're going to handle the mounts. Because
Mhm.
in that trailer, I believe I showed it to you.
Yes.
In that trailer, we saw just mount.
Mm-hmm.
We never
Yeah.
we never saw the character get off
Oh,
of the
yeah.
mount.
No, we didn't. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is this just going to be a massively open world?
Just off the trailer we watched,
Mhm.
I'm kind of thinking it's gonna go that way because we saw a clip of it gliding to like a ledge.
Yes. Yeah.
The
Which
mount he
has
was riding.
never been done before. So, and that's why I'm grateful for titles like Rise where they experiment with new things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that one of the things Rise has done really well is just the mobility
Yeah.
in that game. The wall running, all that.
Yeah, and the wire bugs, right?
Yes. That game feels really freeing in
Mhm.
terms of exploration. Monster Hunter World is more similar to the old games where it's like a set map and there's Easter eggs and shit like that in the map, but it's pretty linear.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that what they're doing with Wilds
Yeah.
is they're really taking advantage of like, okay, they liked mounts
Yeah.
and they liked the freeing movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we also saw, we saw it gliding, but we also saw the mount doing like parkour type shit.
Yeah.
We saw it bouncing from rock to rock to
Mhm.
rock to get to this point.
Right. Yes.
And so I'm wondering if it's almost going to feel like an Assassin's Creed game in the sense of like automated parkour to get to this spot.
that's kind of what I was wondering too. Yeah.
I'm hoping it does. I think
Mhm.
that's going to be really cool to have a game, a Monster Hunter series game with so much movement in the mounts. I
Yeah.
hope it's open world.
So actually the very first thing I thought of when I saw that was Elden Ring and the mount in Elden Ring.
There's a mountain.
The horse.
Duh.
Torrent. The
Torrent.
He can't fly, but every so often in Elden Ring there's like these little wind tunnels that you can jump up.
Yeah.
If that can just like glide instead of those wind tunnels,
Yeah.
that will be so cool.
Yeah. If you could get up on a cliff and glide down,
Yeah.
that would be really, really
That'd
cool.
be sick.
So that's one coming out in 2025. I'm really
Mhm.
excited for.
Yeah.
I know in our last video you had said, "Oh, I kind of want to drop World and play Rise." Nah, I don't think you should. I mean, you still can. I think
Mhm.
Rise is a good game still. Looks way better on PC. So Switch is the native port.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Switch game, and then they recently ported it to PC,
Okay.
and it looks way better on PC. Obviously, it does look like pretty dog water on the Switch, but it's a
Yeah,
Switch.
it's a
You're
Switch.
paying for play on the go,
Yeah.
not for looks.
Yeah.
So I think that if you want to drop World and wait for one, I think it should be Wilds.
Mm. Okay.
Also partially because I want to play it with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It does look really cool.
Yeah.
And, yeah. For it being the next main release
Yeah.
in the series. Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see what they do for that.
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys think about
Yeah.
Wilds with that trailer.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited for it? A reason I wanted to bring this up is because I know the Monster Hunter community right now is very split,
Okay.
because a lot of people don't know that Rise is kind of an experimental or light game. So a lot of people see Rise and they see that there's no more footprint tracking.
Right.
There's a lot more shortcuts, right? It's
Yeah.
very streamlined. Here's a quest, find the monster. I mean, for fuck's sake, the monster, even if you have never seen the monster before in your life,
Mm-hmm.
it still shows up as a question mark on the map right there, ready for you to go. Right? There's no, oh, well, I've fought this 6 times, therefore my scout flies already can find it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
Okay.
Right? And so a lot of people hated that.
Yeah.
A lot of people who played the older generations of Monster Hunter really enjoyed the what is it called when you're not monotone, like doing the same thing over and over again?
Monotonous or
Monotonous, yeah, sure. The monotonous, like, I need to get this, I need to prepare this, I have to do all of this, all of the, I guess, tenacity that
Mhm.
goes with hunting a large monster.
right.
A lot of people in the older games really enjoyed how it felt like I was gearing up to fight this big thing.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about World too.
Yeah.
Tracking the monster and
Yeah.
finding it and
A lot of people really enjoyed the balance that World found.
okay.
With it's kind of holding your hand with the scout flies. Those
Oh.
are a new addition, the scout flies.
Oh,
Yeah, so a lot of people.
okay,
go
yeah.
for it.
So
What?
you would have had to do that by yourself, like follow the footprints and everything?
Yes,
Mm,
yeah,
cool.
and so a lot of people think that the scout flies is kind of holding your hand.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, people
can
received it
see
as a
that.
good balance.
Yeah.
Right. And in the old games, there was something that instead of it just being on your map, you had to sneak up to the monster and
Mhm.
shoot it with a paintball,
Oh,
and then it would show up on your map,
okay.
which
That's
is
cool.
kind of cool
Yeah.
for an older gen.
Yeah,
But
that is tedious.
exactly,
Oh,
that's the word I was looking for.
Tedious.
But I personally think the paintballs suck dick.
mm-hmm.
I think that the system in Monster Hunter World was really good.
Yeah,
The scout flies, I liked that. And something to think about too is like accessibility to new players,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine me trying to teach you World without the help of scout flies and all that. You'd be pretty lost
Yeah.
for a good bit of it.
Yes.
Until
for
you
a good
picked it
bit
up,
of
right?
Yes. Yes.
So you want people to just keep playing the game. You want
Right.
it to not be like, I need to get through all this tedious shit
Yeah.
and then play the game.
Yeah. see that.
So there's that side of like, I want the older way. I want it to be back to just tracking the monster, really feeling like this is man versus nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's people who played Rise and they were like, I love this. It's so streamlined. It's so quick. It's so easy,
Yeah.
right? To like get in and play.
Yeah.
That's a fair side, but I do think it takes away from what Monster Hunter was and is.
Yeah. Monster Hunter is in the name.
Yeah.
So.
Rather than go fight big shit, win,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people with that kind of diversion were really worried about like, well, what is Wild's going to be like?
Mhm.
A lot of people were saying, I want the next Monster Hunter to be similar to World. I want that to be the path that they take when
Yeah.
it comes to making the next Monster Hunter.
But
And then there's the side of like modernism of like, I want it to be like Rise.
Yeah.
And then there's the people who are like, I want them to revert back to the older generations like Monster Hunter 3 and 4 and implement those systems back.
Mm.
And so I think that with that, a lot of people not knowing that Rise is an experimental type of thing,
Yeah.
I think that we just need to, as Monster Hunter community, if anyone's like watching and listening,
Yeah.
we need to just Chill.
Yeah.
Let's let them take it. Rise is an experimental game. The whole point of that game is to see what players like with these new features like wire bugs and wall climbing,
Yeah.
and to expand on that. I think we need to chill.
Yeah.
Capcom is a great studio.
Uh-huh.
I think they're going to do good with Wilds.
Yeah. And I imagine a lot of the reasons for taking some of that stuff out is if it's a native Switch game, that's an easy way to cut down
what I'm talking
on
about. A lot of
processing.
people don't even recognize that,
Yeah.
especially with it getting ported to PC.
Yeah.
So many people are going to pick it up and say, "Well, this is just the next Monster Hunter."
Yeah,
No, this
yeah.
is an experimental.
Yeah.
This is a side title.
I definitely thought it was the next Monster Hunter just from the name. So
Yeah. So and then the reason that there's Monster Hunter 1, 2, 3, 4 Generations, and then there's also World, right? And there's a couple other side ones.
mhm.
A lot of people thought World was also an experimental title,
Okay.
but the dev confirmed it to be Monster Hunter 5.
Okay.
And the reason they did that was because they didn't want people to see Monster Hunter 5 and be like, "Oh, well, do I need to play the first 4 then? Am I going to be lost?" So they gave it a different name.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But Monster Hunter Wilds will be Monster Hunter 6. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So let's just all chill. I'm gonna have trust and faith in Capcom. And also one thing I want to say about the side of like, going for the older mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: you can either make more complex monsters, which they are doing,
Right.
with things like Kushala Daora and Xeno'jiiva and shit like that.
Yeah.
You're getting
sure.
more and more complex monsters.
Yeah.
If you revert back to like your pickaxe breaking when you mine an ore,
Huh?
yeah, that was a thing.
No.
Yeah, I know. So if you revert to that while you're still making more complex monsters, you're gonna lose player base.
Oh yeah.
Because you're making the harvesting and gathering more difficult.
Yeah.
You're making the hunting and tracking more difficult,
Yeah.
and you're making the monsters more difficult.
Yeah.
No,
you gotta.
you
You
can't.
can't do all of that.
not if
yeah.
you want player retention and player gain.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
you have to understand where they're coming from too. I think
Mhm.
World is a really, really good balance of that.
Yes.
Which it shows in the numbers.
Yeah.
It's their best selling one. And recently there's a spike. A couple weeks ago, they broke sales records on World.
A couple weeks ago.
Maybe a month or something. But yeah, pretty recently they broke sales records.
Yeah.
And their
That's crazy.
marketing for it was they announced Wilds.
Right.
And then they said, hey, while you guys are waiting for this game, go play Monster Hunter World. And it worked.
Okay.
Everyone was just like, okay, sure.
Yeah. Let's go play.
Yeah. And so I'll
Good
be
on them.
streaming that too. I'll probably stream that in
Yeah.
the coming week. I'll play some World and get back into it while I'm waiting because I'm antsy.
Yeah. What was
Um,
the other one you were
so
going to say
the-
coming out?
The other game I wanted to just talk about, I've never played it. Well, I played it a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't for me. But GTA 6
Mm.
is set to come out in 2025 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we have to talk about that as a gaming channel.
Yeah.
Did you ever play GTAs?
Yes, I've played GTA 5 like here and there. I've never played it from start to finish, but it's not like the game I gravitate towards.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of open worlds and a lot of shooters, and that's a third person shooter.
Yeah.
Eh.
Now, I have the same outlook on you. It's not something I gravitated towards. I bought it when I was 14 because I was like, I have job money. Yay.
Yeah.
Played it for about an hour and was like, this is not for me. Haven't picked it up again.
Mhm.
It's not for me. But I'm not going to let that take away from the fact that GTA 5 is a monster
It is a monster.
when it comes to impactfulness on the gaming world.
Yes.
If you're going to make, like, good luck making a open world game set in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, because they've done it and they've mastered it already.
They mastered it. I see memes all the time about people finding their way around like LA
Yeah.
because of GTA 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, I didn't know they made the frontier a real place.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Shit like that.
I mean, it is like amazing how well they
Mhm.
took that map and was like,
Yeah.
boom, you're in LA.
Seriously. Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of crazy.
And also the MMO aspect of it.
Right.
I wouldn't call it an MMO,
Yeah.
but it has that really massive multiplayer aspect of
Yes.
like, I'm going to get on this server and dick around and people are going to kill me. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to level up. I'm going to fucking, I'm going to become a drug boss in this
Right.
world.
Yeah.
You have all the role playing servers and shit like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. so much around that game.
yeah. So
Seriously.
and GTA 6 we've been waiting. Well, I haven't been waiting, but I know everyone's been waiting for so fucking long.
Yeah. I mean, how many times has GTA 5 been released?
Fuck.
Like
3 times. It's like for each like
console
new
generation? Yeah. It's got to be.
It's on PS3, isn't it? GTA 5?
I'm pretty sure.
I think it might be.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Not my game.
Yeah, not my game either.
I'm not going to be able to talk about it as much as like Monster Hunter.
Right.
But I just wanted to mention that is coming out in 2025.
Mhm.
And if you know anything about gaming or like GTA, you probably knew that. But for the people who don't know, that's coming out in 2025. So big shit. Big shit's
shit.
coming.
Yeah. For real.
I think that about does it for games, though.
Yeah. So,
If we missed something,
Mhm.
let us know.
Yes, seriously.
We are just two dudes running a
Mhm.
podcast,
Yeah.
so we can't get everything.
Yeah.
But if you guys have a small or big studio that is releasing something that you want to see us talk about and check out, leave it down below. We will check it out. And
Yes,
talk about
we
it.
will.
But let's get into some movies now.
Yeah.
Now I know this is something you're more excited about
Yeah.
because
definitely.
you're more of a film buff than
Yeah.
a game buff, right?
Yeah. I'd say that. Yeah.
So what do we got?
Okay. So, first thing coming out this year, January 12th, Book of Clarence.
Oh, I've seen a trailer for
Yeah.
this.
I've been seeing trailers too. It's going to be pretty soon. It might be
12th, right?
Yeah, so it might be out by the time this one goes up.
Oh shit! What is today? The 6th.
The 6th.
So it will be out.
Yes, it will be out.
Will be out by the time this comes out. So let us know what you guys thought of it. I'll be excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That one I know. I don't know. Is it based on a true story?
I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
based on a true story.
I saw a lot of people talking about the historical accurateness of it. So, and I know it's set in the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like old times, like
Yes,
Roman times.
Romans, yes.
Oh, is it the Romans?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like a true story, but a lot of people were saying it looked really accurate,
Mhm.
which is cool.
Yes.
Another thing I saw, the main actor of it, I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see
Yes,
play.
me too. Me
Do
too.
you recognize him?
His name is I don't think I'll think of it off the top of my head, but
Look it up.
I've seen him in other things.
I've seen him. Here, look up his name really fast.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, Lakeith Stanfield?
Mm-hmm. Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen him in a couple things, and he's always blown me away.
Yeah.
The only one that's coming to mind right now for me is Get Out.
I haven't seen that one. That is definitely
really?
one we need to watch together.
I would say so too.
I know. I've heard it's amazing.
It's
So-
really good.
Yeah.
Like a horror thriller that is like top of the list for me.
Yeah.
Really, really
It's
fucking
in a
good.
lot of people's top lists.
Yeah.
So,
What is the name? Jordan Peele? Is that his name?
Yeah, Jordan Peele.
He was obviously Key and Peele's comedy sketch and everything.
I know.
And then out of nowhere, he made a movie, and it was like, oh, this dude
This
can
is-
direct.
Yeah, this is a good movie. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, his first one was, I don't even remember actually.
I don't know what his first one is. I thought that one was Get Out.
I think, was it Us that came out first?
No, that one came out after.
Oh, okay. Then
'Cause
maybe
I
it
think
was Get
that-
Out.
Yeah, it might have been. And then Nope came out somewhat.
I did. Have you seen Nope?
Mm-mm.
That one's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That one's really good. And it has a lot of hidden message that I'd like to see if you can pick up on.
Yeah.
A lot of people were kind of confused, like, what is the point of this movie? If you're more into like diving deep into movies, subscribe. But also
Yes.
watch that movie
Yeah.
because it is really, really good.
Yeah.
It talks a lot about, well, I won't spoil it. I
Yeah.
won't spoil it for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Um,
Don't spoil it for me.
but yeah, he's in I think a couple movies actually. What was his name? This main actor?
Lakeith Stanfield.
I think he's in a couple movies with Jordan Peele.
Oh
as a
yeah, he
director.
might be one of those.
He's one of those like favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we have like a summary of the movie or anything?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is what I'm so curious about. A part-time gladiator who witnesses Jesus preaching peace and performing miracles. He decides to fashion himself as a messiah as well, which puts him in hot water when a Roman officer begins to crack down on possible threats to the empire. That sounds so cool. And I'm reading just off of Rolling Stone's top movies coming out
Okay.
this year. So,
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'll be honest, I didn't pick up any of that when I watched the trailer.
I didn't either.
Maybe that was my fault,
Yeah,
but I didn't get anything like that. But that's really interesting.
yeah,
It's an interesting way to go for a movie.
yeah.
And that sounds good.
It does sound good. I'm expecting criticism about religion
Yeah.
that being a theme.
Yeah,
Probably.
maybe. But I think that's something maybe we shouldn't even get into, honestly. I don't know. But I think it's good
Mhm.
to be able to portray religion in
Any light.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think that it shouldn't be like a sensitive topic. I think
Yeah.
it should be something we can openly talk about.
Me too. Yeah.
Because I think when you start going like, well, you shouldn't talk about this or politics, well, that's what the Romans did, and they killed people over it.
Yeah.
And so we should probably move away from that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of hidden messages maybe are in that
Mhm.
film with the religion and stuff.
Yeah.
But also just the general idea of it. That sounds
Right.
interesting.
I know it does sound really cool.
Like a battle of the wits type of
Yeah.
thing. Like he's going to be fighting the wits of the empire.
Yeah, and trying to sneak around and
Have you
Stuff.
seen, speaking of battle of the wits, we'll get to the next one here in a second.
yeah.
Have you seen Death Note?
Yes.
Oh, you have seen it?
Yes, I've seen Death Note.
Oh,
All of
lovely.
it. Yeah.
That's a great example of like
Yes.
battle of the wits.
Yes.
And so I hope it can kind of rekindle some of that
Mm-hmm.
emotion in me.
Yeah, and that back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
You
who's
got
gonna-
me. God damn it.
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully that'll be good. That was January 12th.
No, February 12th.
Oh,
Oh wait, January 12th.
January 12th. January
Yes.
12th, that's coming out. Okay, great. Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that one.
Okay, and the next one I have on here is Madam Web.
Ooh. Ooh.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I really don't know.
When you say the name Madam
Uh-huh.
Web, which for those of you who don't know, it's a Spider-Man kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's a spider person.
Right.
But when you say the name, it makes me excited because I'm like, Madam Web is awesome. I'm so excited to see a live action portrayal of that. But then I see what direction they're going with it, and it makes me sad
Oh, okay.
because
Explain.
so Madam Web is typically like an elderly person. She's not physically strong like Spider-Man, but she has like clairvoyance, telepathy, and she can like see the future.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Kind of like foresight
Yeah.
type shit, right? So she's
Yeah.
really good at advising
Mm.
Spider-Man or Spider People.
Okay.
And that's typically how she's portrayed in the comics is like in a throne
Yeah.
and just like this grand advisor
Right.
who doesn't really do combat
And
or
more of a support role then. Yeah.
kind of, yeah. But I mean, she's a badass. Don't get
Right.
me wrong. But that's the direction I want to see is her being like this advisor, and like I'd love to see a movie maybe portraying how she goes about dealing with all that,
Mm-hmm.
up at the top type of issues,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's not the direction they're going.
No, it is not.
No. So the way it starts off is she is a paramedic, I believe, right?
Mm.
So she's a paramedic and then finds that she has these abilities, and she like starts saving people and like crime fighting and stuff. I'm pretty sure is the direction they're going.
Okay.
And the person who's playing Madam Web is young as fuck.
yeah.
So it just looks like another like
Marvel movie.
kind of yeah.
It's so Sony is the studio
Yeah.
working on
right.
it. That means something, but they also
I would
don't
say
know.
it means bad things.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look, so Andrew
Morbius.
Garfield's,
Oh, I was going to say
Spider-Man.
Morbius, but
well, we can talk about Morbius
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's Morbin time. We can talk about that. But if we look at Spider-Man stuff,
yeah.
Sony's version of Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield, and Andrew Garfield himself does really good. I think
Right.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man
Yes.
is one of the best
Okay. Yeah.
in live action,
Yeah.
if not the best. He's witty, quick,
Yes.
funny,
He is.
and he's sarcastic and shit, right? But he's the worst Peter Parker.
Yes.
He is like cool as fuck.
Yes, he is cool as fuck.
Yeah, and he like the girl was attracted to him as Peter Parker, not
Yeah.
like I don't know. So bad writing.
Mhm.
Like it just shows a untruthful story of Spider-Man with him like
Right.
skating and being all cool and hip
Yeah.
and shit. They did great on the Spider-Man part, but
Mm-hmm.
not the actual like base comic book shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we also look at Morbius, like you're saying.
Ooh.
That movie sucked.
Yeah.
I was excited for Morbius.
Yeah.
I actually was.
I kind of was excited too. And then
Especially because we saw things in Morbius trailers and stuff that saw like, oh, it's in the like it's in the same universe.
right, yeah.
So, oh, maybe Sony's setting up their own multiverse,
yeah.
And then it came out,
Yeah.
and it was just so bad.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to really say anything on that.
I don't think we do.
You
Yeah.
guys know.
You guys know.
Morbius was
you guys
bad.
heard.
So
Um,
seeing Sony as the studio kind of disappoints me.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I mean, they have all the rights to Spider-Man and shit.
Yeah, and they're not going to give that up anytime soon.
No, hell no.
Ain't
That's
no
too
way.
much money.
Yeah, and so we talked last week too about there's like a Young Avengers movie down the road somewhere.
Yeah, with like the kids.
Yeah, so is she gonna be in that? I don't know how young she's gonna be in this movie.
If they make it to where Madam Web is a part of the young little league, they're gonna do Madam Web dirty. And that's what I'm afraid of with this movie. Is that I think they're gonna do the comics and the character dirty.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be another cash grab. Look, guys, it's a Spider-Man character, and Spider-Man's popular right now.
Right?
Woo!
Yeah, you guys like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, so I'm not terribly excited for it. I'll
Yeah.
ultimately still be watching it
Yeah.
to see. Hope, fingers crossed, that they don't fuck it up. But that is coming out. When is that coming out?
February 14th.
February
Valentine's
14th.
Day.
Oh, wow.
Cute.
Don't watch that for your Valentine's Day.
No, do not. Yeah, it might go south.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Mhm.
February 14th. I'll keep a date.
Yeah.
What else do you have anything you want to say about Madam Web?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
a whole conversation about it last week, and
Yeah.
that's still kind of how I feel.
And while it isn't Marvel, it's very much the same formula, I
Yeah.
think, that Marvel's going with right now. So
Yeah, and I don't know what they did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but from what I understand, Sony was still in on that, all right?
no. So the way that it worked, which is why Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't a complete fuck up.
Okay.
Kevin Feige pretty much said, if you want me to do Spider-Man, you're gonna let me do it,
Okay.
and you'll get profit from it. You'll
Yeah.
still get all this shit. But if you
Okay.
want me to write a Spider-Man movie, you're gonna let me do it, and you're
Yeah.
gonna have no say.
Yeah.
You can do all that. You can put Sony products in the movie and all that. But no, Kevin Feige was the mind behind
Okay.
the Spider-Mans.
That's okay
Yeah, and it took a lot of convincing
for Sony.
for Sony.
Oh,
Yeah,
let
to be
them-
like, fine, you can have
Yeah.
Spider-Man for a movie.
Yeah.
Which is like, dude, I don't get Sony's thought process. Like, you've released Spider-Man products and they've all fucking flopped.
Yeah.
So how about you have the rights to it? That's massive. That's big enough.
Mhm.
Do this again, where you let someone else do it. They pay you a premium, you get access to profits, and the person who knows how the fuck to write Spider-Man,
Yeah.
writes it for you.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
That's
I
so much
know.
better. So no, that's how I went with Tom Holland.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense
which is why I'm not excited.
for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
let's get into the next one. So
yeah.
that's February 14th.
Okay, this next one is Drive Away Dolls.
Nope, haven't heard of it.
Yeah. I actually think I have seen a trailer for this already, but it might have been in a theater where they show, more trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is by Ethan Coen, who's part of the Coen brothers, who did No Country for Old Men.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that gives me more hope.
Yes.
A lot more hope, actually.
Yeah. I don't exactly know what to. Oh, it's a comedy about two friends.
That
on a
gives me
road trip.
less hope.
I don't know. I love their comedy so much. I've seen two others of their movies, and they don't. A lot of people I know don't actually like them, but I like them. So
Okay.
maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
I'm just typically very picky and judgmental when it comes to comedies in general, and you know that.
Yes, I do know that.
Or let's see, I'll go ahead and read the summary on this one since we don't know too much about it.
Yeah.
About two friends. Okay, so this is about two friends, Margaret Qualley, and Geraldine Holy shit, Geraldine. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Can't pronounce her last name. Viswanathan. On a road trip, who accidentally take off with some stolen loot. Naturally, some criminals would like it back. Ooh, kind of sounds like No Country for Old Men.
Yes, it kind of does sound like that.
The cast is stacked. Ooh,
I just saw a second there. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's-
that's way cool.
And not only is he just like a popular pick right now in media, but he's just a damn good actor.
He's so good.
He's really,
Yes.
really good. I mean, if you guys have seen The Last of Us, you know he can perform.
Man.
That
Yeah.
show is amazing,
Yes.
and a heavy credit for him for
Yes.
that.
And I don't like Disney at all.
No,
But the Mandalorian show,
Mhm.
he does. I think Pedro does that character so good. The
Really?
Mandalorian.
I didn't even know he was in that.
Yeah, he is the guy,
Oh shit!
and he's serious the whole time.
Oh
While
wow!
all this other dumb Disney shit's happening around
Oh
him.
yeah.
He is serious.
And see, Disney, we want more serious shit, man.
Yeah, and he can do it.
Yeah.
But who else? Who else is in this one?
So Pedro Pascal, Matt Damon. Yeah.
Okay.
Matt Damon is stacked as fuck.
Yeah.
That's a really good actor. He was in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Not a huge major role, but damn, he pulled it off really well. You believed he was a general.
Yes.
You really believed it.
Yes.
Beanie Feldstein. Don't know him. Coleman Domingo.
Nope.
Don't know him either. But I'll believe Rolling Stone on this one that those guys are good actors.
Yeah.
That one, sure. I'll watch that with you. That
Yeah.
one sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go ahead and check that one out.
Name checks out. Now I get it. Drive
Yeah.
Away Dolls. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it sounds like it's gonna have a lot of inspiration from No Country. I mean, it's the same fucking director,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
When does that one come out?
This one is February 23rd.
23rd. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the one I am by far the most excited for, Dune Part 2.
Oh, mama. Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one is amazing.
Okay.
I'm already hooked, but explain why we're hooked.
So, okay. I've been reading the books. We got a board game. That's just a card game.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, and I actually typically when it comes to like, oh, we made a board game about this movie because it was popular, typically it feels like a cash grab. It's like, here's the same board game you've played 8 times, but we have Dune characters on it now. Ooh.
Yeah.
No, not this one. Dune, the board game, was fucking fun. And it's very enriching to know about the lore while playing the board game. And that's really interesting. That's really cool that I feel like you don't see a lot of cases with board games like that.
I don't.
Where it's enriching to know the lore and the background, and everything makes more sense if you know it.
Yeah.
Like the game mechanics of the board game.
Yeah,
If you've got a local game store and you want like a pretty, like if you play board games more seriously than your peers or people that you know, then Dune, the board game, is amazing.
definitely check that one out.
You can also get a mod for it on Tabletop Simulator.
You can also
play
do
it
that
online.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah. You read the books, we played the board game.
Yeah.
We also just loved the movie.
Yes, and we watched Arrival together.
Yep.
By the same director.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched Dune together.
Yes, we did.
I just love the visuals Denis Villeneuve does so much.
Yeah, and Denis Villeneuve is also another thing. Like I was talking about Final Fantasy, they play their games, right?
Right.
They have passion for that game.
Yes.
Denis Villeneuve read all the books when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He read everything.
Yeah.
And he was a big fan of it. And so he was like, I want to do this series a service.
Yeah.
And he did.
He did, bro.
I mean, go watch Dune if you haven't, and we're talking about it. I mean,
Seriously.
go watch that movie.
Go
especially
fucking
with the
watch
second
Dune.
one coming
Yeah.
out. We're going to watch that probably on release day.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Probably for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that one.
Mhm.
I also wanted to. I mean, it was so good that it got me into the books as well.
Right.
I haven't read them, but I'm going to. I'm going to read those
You
books.
should.
They're really good.
Yeah. Stop after the second book and you'll be golden.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate to say.
Well, it
There's like
happens.
7.
I know.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background on Dune. I know we've been gushing over it, but let's give you guys some info.
Right.
So Dune can be compared to Star Wars in the sense that it is space-based stuff.
Right.
It's in the future. The difference is that Dune is not a futuristic world in where they value tech.
Right.
Dune is all about the value of the human mind and its capabilities.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so there was a war that relied on AI, and it was devastating to humanity.
Right.
And as a result, they banned all forms of intelligent machinery. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now you have things like mentats who go to school to just be like a human calculator.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's really, really cool. So there's different factions that all deal with the capabilities of the mind, and like they specialize in their own things.
Yeah, and like you're saying about the factions, it's like Star Wars, like you were saying, in space and all that. But it's also very similar to like Game of Thrones in the sense of there's all these houses and intrigue or like political intrigues between everybody. And,
Yes. And that's typically how I explain it to people when I'm trying to get them into Dune.
Right.
As I say, hey, did you watch Game of Thrones? Yeah. Well, it's Game of Thrones in space.
Yeah.
And it really does feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
The House of Atreides is, I would compare that to like the House of the Starks,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like these are the guys you're rooting for.
Right.
And it does it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does faction based like ideas and portrayals
Yeah.
as good as Game of Thrones.
As good as Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
which is hard to do.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and who was the guy? George Martin? Is he the one behind? No, George Martin is behind Star Wars.
No,
Who-
George Martin
Is Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Okay, great. George Martin. I mean, that name alone carries weight because
Yeah.
of Game of Thrones,
Yes.
and it's not typical that you've got a guy who's so good at writing factions and stuff like that you see him come on board for games
yeah.
like Elden Ring.
Like Elden Ring.
And so for us to
Mhm.
say that Dune is comparable to that level is saying a lot.
It's high praise.
Yeah, we
Seriously.
really enjoyed Dune Part 1.
Yeah.
And I've got to throw in there,
Mm-hmm.
when Dune launched or released, no one knew it was going to be 2 parts.
No.
It wasn't until the theater release
Yeah.
that it says Dune Part
Part
1.
2. Yeah.
And it was like, what? So
Yeah.
that's just super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm assuming, yeah, Dune Part 2 is going to be a direct sequel
Yep.
to pretty much the last thing we saw in Dune 1.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet,
Mm-hmm.
had never seen any of his work before Dune, but damn,
Yeah.
he can act.
He can.
He can really act.
And I do think in the book he's supposed to be like 14.
Mhm.
You can definitely tell Timothy Chalamet's a little older.
But not by far. He looks
Yeah.
like he's in his young
He's
20s.
young. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing about the books too, I wanted to say, which I'm sure you're going to agree with,
Yeah.
is the books do one thing better.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy Chalamet's character, what's his name? I don't even remember.
Paul Atreides.
Paul Atreides, yes. Paul is kind of, we don't get much, but it almost seems like Paul has like a much more lighter, like the family has a lighter, like they're not as strict on the training that
Mm.
Paul's going to go through.
Okay.
We see a couple training scenes,
Yeah.
and we see like conversations about the training, but we don't see how intense it is, and the books show that way better.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people sometimes can take away from the movie that Paul is like another rich, spoiled, heir to the throne.
Yes, I think you definitely could take that away.
Yeah. And that's
100%.
not the case
No.
in reality. In the
Not at
books, he's training to be a mentat.
Mhm.
He's training to be a soldier under his
Mhm.
father. He's training to be a
Bene Gesserit.
Benny Gesserit under his mother.
Mhm.
I mean, if Paul's awake, he's training.
Yes, pretty much.
And I really wish that the movies would have shown that more.
yeah.
But when you're dealing with a series as in-depth and big as Dune,
Yeah.
I get it.
Seriously.
That movie's long,
Mm-hmm.
and they still miss shit.
Yes.
So I
they
don't
still
think
did.
it's Denise's fault by any means.
No.
And I think if he could have had the time to do that, he would have.
Yeah. He probably. Yeah. If he could do a third movie, he probably
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah.
Put more of that info in for us.
So Dune Part 2, when is that coming out?
March 1st.
Right before my birthday. I'm excited
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome to watch that.
I don't want to tell you much about what's going to happen, for sure.
Oh.
but that we're going to be introduced to a new character called Fade Ralpha.
Okay.
And this has been confirmed because Dune did a collab with Call of Duty,
Oh, okay.
and they put Dune's skins in Call of Duty,
And he was one of them?
and he was one of them.
Okay.
We don't even know who this guy is. Fade Ralpha? You've never
No,
even
no,
heard
no,
that name
no.
before.
Not at all.
Yeah. He's going to be played by Austin Butler.
Oh God, that sounds familiar. Austin Butler.
Yes.
What is?
Uh,
What else? Do
the
would I
only
know
thing-
him?
He's Elvis in the Elvis movie.
Nope.
That's the only thing I know him from, but look him up. You'll know who he is.
Austin Butler. Let's see what this brings up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
he's in Glee.
Oh, for real?
I think so. I think he
okay.
plays a character named Sam in Glee.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. That'll be interesting to see him in a serious role.
I cannot. He's part of the Harkonnen, Fade Ralpha Harkonnen.
Okay.
I cannot. He looks like the perfect guy for the role.
Oh, okay.
With a bald cap on, I'm sure he will look
Amazing.
weird.
Oh, okay, sure.
because the Harkonnens are they're all bald and
Oh,
like
really?
weird looking.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that they were all bald.
You-
I guess I noticed now.
I guess I don't know if that's like canonically, but that's how they've been portrayed so far.
Sure.
Right.
Which that's another thing about the Harkonnens in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Major star Dave Bautista
Yeah.
plays the leader of the Harkonnens,
Yeah.
like right hand man,
Mm-hmm.
and he does so good.
Yeah.
I really think that Dave Bautista is one of those people who they transition from professional WWE wrestling into acting,
yeah.
and they pull it off.
Yeah.
They pull it off. I think that like The Rock is like a good actor, but he feels like he's always playing The Rock.
Yeah. He's never.
I can never not look at him and be like, oh, that's The Rock.
Yeah. Me too.
This, if you get it in the right angle, you look at it and you're like, oh, is that Dave?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
And you believe that
seriously.
this dude's a Harkonnen. I mean, when there's a
Oh, yeah.
scene where he shouts at his like master and he's out of frustration, and you
Mhm.
feel that this dude's mad. This dude's ready to kill someone.
Yeah.
So really, really good work by Dave as well in that movie.
Mhm.
The whole cast,
The whole cast is pretty good. Yeah.
it does amazing.
Yeah.
That movie. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to get them uploaded. Maybe in the future.
Right.
But we did record a podcast on Dune.
Yeah. First part of Dune.
And we gave it a rating, and it to this day was my highest rating.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gave it like a 9.2,
Yeah. I think so.
and I'm a harsh critique.
Yes. You
I
are.
gave the FNAF movie a 1, which some of you might agree with, some of you might disagree, but
Yeah.
I'm a harsh critic,
Yeah.
and I don't have many things like. And I think the only reason I wouldn't have given Dune a 10 is because I think a 10 is impossible to achieve.
Me too.
I think
Yeah.
there's always room to improvement when it comes to films
Yeah.
and storytelling.
Yeah.
So I think Dune and Game of Thrones season 5 and before is like as close as you can get to a perfect story.
Yeah.
And Dune is up there with it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
super excited for Dune Part 2.
Yeah. And anybody who has read the books will know the end of the movie the end of the book to me felt a little anticlimactic.
Okay.
I won't say why, but the visuals of what's going to happen, I can't. Oh,
Really?
I want to see it so badly.
And there's a lot of something I appreciate about the Dune series, and I know we've been talking about Dune for a little bit, but we just are going to nerd on it.
Yeah.
A lot of the things one of the things I really like about Dune is that there's typically an answer for any questions you might have.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weapon that's portrayed in Dune Part 1, and it's that laser that just like cuts through everything. I mean,
Yes.
it shows it like cutting a mountain in half.
Mhm.
And they use that, and a lot of people were like, well, why the fuck don't they just use that? Well, it's because they've got these shields that are
Mhm.
very commonly used by pretty much everyone,
Mhm.
where something slow moving using kinetic energy and vibration can go through the shield, so they've reverted back to like sword fighting.
Right. Yeah.
There's not like blasters and shit
Mm-mm.
because these shields that everyone has just repels fast moving objects. Right?
Yes. Not just repels, but if a laser comes in contact with a shield, it creates an explosion
Which is where it
equivalent
is-
to a nuke. So
Exactly. So that laser that everyone was like, why don't they just use it? Well, if you accidentally hit anyone with that fucking laser and they've got a shield, boom.
yeah.
You just killed everyone.
Yep. And now all of that is on whoever sent the troops, like
And there's
Yeah.
the factions, and then there is someone that they have to answer to, which is
Mhm.
the Emperor.
yeah.
So they can't just nuke people
Mm-mm.
because the Emperor will look at them and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Kill them.
yeah.
So something like that. There's a lot of lore. And who is the writer of Dune? Do you know?
Frank Herbert.
Frank Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he's passed away.
Yeah.
But I think that Denis Villeneuve, I think if Frank saw these projects, I
He-
think Frank would be proud.
I think he would. I genuinely think he would be.
And that's hard to say too.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to say. I think that if the founder of Disney, if
Look-
Walt Disney saw what we
What-
are making right
yeah.
now, I think he'd be disappointed as hell.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, he'd probably be like, yeah, I'm glad it's like the most expensive or worth the
I'm
most.
glad we were successful, but
Yeah.
off of what?
Yeah.
We're supposed to, we could get into Disney.
Right.
But Dune Part 2, March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm excited for that.
Yes, me too.
Very,
And
very excited.
there's one more thing I want to say about it. There's a couple new people that are included in the cast. Florence Pugh. totally
Whoa.
out of nowhere.
That seems very out of that realm.
Oh,
What?
I didn't know who she was gonna be, but I totally know who she's gonna be now. And I won't.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I want to watch it so bad
Cool.
now.
And the other guy gonna be in this is Christopher Walken. Which
No, wait. Is he
Yeah.
the Batman guy? Wait, Christopher
No.
Walken. Christopher Walken. Let me find out who
Christopher
we're talking
Walken is in
about. Christopher
like
Walken.
everything.
Oh my god, he's from Hairspray, the father from Hairspray.
Yes, he is.
And he talks like this.
Yes, exactly. That's gonna be super weird.
To see him.
yeah, in such a serious movie.
I think he's gonna do great.
I do too.
If he can cut that accent off.
Yeah.
If he can stop talking like this,
Yeah.
then I think he'll be really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no complaints about him being thrown into there.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh
Mhm.
has a very, very, very serious and mentally ill character in Oppenheimer,
Right.
and I mean, she
does.
gave me some fucking PTSD. She did really well.
Yeah, she did really
She
well.
did absolutely amazing
Mm-hmm.
in portraying that character in a very serious and kind of dark tone.
Yeah.
So really excited for this
Right.
this cast
Yeah.
that they're adding on.
Yeah. Me too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do we got
Okay.
next?
Up
That's gonna be the
next.
big hitter for me and you.
Seriously, me too. That's like probably the one I'm most excited for.
Oh, easily
this
for me.
next year.
Easily.
Okay, this other one I have, Roadhouse.
Okay.
I don't know anything about this movie, but I know Jake Gyllenhaal's in it.
Now I know that we might get some flack for being fans of Jake Gyllenhaal,
Right.
probably from all the Swifties.
Yeah.
Which,
Which
but here's the thing that
Still
I'll
not
say. I'll
caught
say
up on all
one
that.
thing. Me neither. I don't even know all that happened, but
right.
I'm gonna say one thing on that whole aspect.
Mm-hmm.
We don't actually know what happened. Taylor Swift can write a song about it. Jake Gyllenhaal can have a comment or no comment,
Right.
and you can form your own opinions, and that's fine. I've formed mine. We don't know everything. We don't know everything about a personal relationship.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be handled for everyone's personal relationships. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know the whole story. Let them deal with it how they deal with it. That aside,
Mhm.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal
Me
as an
t-
actor.
me
I don't
too.
know as a person.
I
I
don't
don't
either,
know
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal
Right.
as a person.
Yeah.
And I never will.
But the
But
roles
as
I've
an
seen him in,
actor,
oh,
exactly.
yes. He brings the heat.
Prisoners was
Is
a
the main
really good example.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of too. Denise Villeneuve as well.
No shit.
Yep.
Prisoners is Denise Villeneuve?
Yeah, dude.
No fucking wonder I love that movie.
Yeah,
Denise is an amazing director.
he is.
So there's Prisoners. There's also, oh God, what is it? I don't know, but there's one where he plays a 911 phone operator.
Right.
Do
Yeah.
you remember the name of that?
No, I think it's like a one word thing and it's on the tip of my tongue.
It is one word. I know that. Starts with an R. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's on Netflix though, if you want to find it.
Yeah.
He does amazing in that. It's pretty much just like him talking on the phone, and then all of a sudden the movie's over. But it was an hour and a half, and you're like, oh,
Wow.
what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's dealing with this case, and there's a big twist at the end. Have you seen the movie I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, well, I won't spoil it.
Okay.
But I really recommend we watch it, or you
Okay.
watch it. Next time you're like, what do I watch?
Right.
Big twist at the end that you're like, oh God, it leaves you feeling kind of sick in the stomach, but it's really, really good. And it's straight up him like dealing with this phone call for an hour and a half, and
Right.
then the twist happens and the movie's over, and you're like, huh?
Wow.
I thought we've been here for 20 minutes. Really, really good. He portrays it really well. Sells everything. What's another thing? What's some other projects he's been in?
One I watched recently was Nightcrawler.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that, but
Yeah.
I really want to.
Yeah, he is just crazy in that movie.
Yeah.
He is just crazy, and it's
Mm.
awesome to see how he can
In
portray that.
in Prisoners, there's a scene where he's really upset.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He's upset about the lack of progress for that case that, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think I know.
He loses his shit, to
Mhm.
put it short and simple, and throws his keyboard and totally clears his desk. And I've been that angry before, where it's just like I'm gonna destroy things, and you feel it.
Yeah,
You feel like it's real with
Mhm.
him, and it's really impressive.
Yeah,
He's just a talented actor.
he is.
So yeah, I mean, him alone being on this Roadhouse movie is enough to get me to want to watch it.
Yeah.
And
So
that comes out March 21st, by the way.
Mhm. There's a short little thing here about it.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Elton Dalton, who he plays, who transitions from UFC fighter to cooler in the Florida Keys. Cooler is in quotes. Oh, he's like a bouncer,
Oh, okay.
and I guess he's ripped to shreds.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm really excited for this movie. I saw a trailer.
Oh, okay.
So, and I actually thought it kind of fooled me because his acting is so good.
Mm-hmm.
There was a trailer where he's being portrayed as a UFC fighter, and they actually got a real UFC fighter to come and be the guy he's going against. And they're doing the expose, the debut, and Jake is fucking huge and ripped, and he looks ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lose it on stage, and it's very UFC debut type shit. They've got beef,
Okay.
But he sold it. It had been posted online as like a fake video
Oh, okay.
saying Jake Gyllenhaal in the UFC. What? Click here,
Okay.
and it got me because I was like, what the fuck is he doing on a UFC debut? It looked real as fuck. Yeah, he sold it really well. I was like, is Jake gonna be in the UFC?
And you believed he was going to be in the
Before I looked it up, I was like, he's gonna be in the UFC. Holy shit!
Yeah.
And I totally believed that he
Yeah.
could because he was ripped to fucking shreds.
Wow.
In that, yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's
really excited for
awesome.
that. So a movie that I can compare that to.
Okay.
So he was in a movie called Southpaw.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Did you
one
see
I've
that?
heard of. No.
Okay, so I watched that fairly recently, and in terms of boxing movies, it's pretty standard in my opinion.
Okay.
It's pretty, the beginning of it's really good. It really hooks you. He's got beef with a fighter, and a Mexican fighter, and one of the Mexican fighters like guys in his crew shoots Jake's wife at this like big party. Yeah,
Okay.
and so he just loses it, turns to drugs and alcohol, almost wants to kill himself, but he's got his daughter.
Mm.
And so it's a story about him getting his daughter back, getting the custody back, and like fighting this dude. So like redemption arc type
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
It's pretty standard. The boxing in it looked awful.
Oh.
The choreography of the boxing was like, that's not how that would go.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not the fight. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's
I did
unfortunate.
boxing for a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm not good. I wouldn't even call myself that word yet.
Yeah.
But I know about it more than
Yeah.
average. And it looked like shit.
That's
But-
unfortunate.
Yeah. But Jake's role, amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, Jake steals the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he's in a movie, even in Southpaw, where I think the movie was subpar,
Yeah.
Jake's role was amazing.
Seriously.
I'd give his performance a really good rating.
Yeah.
So super excited for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that if we do see any film of him fighting in the UFC,
Yeah.
I'm hoping the choreography is better.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool if we got to like see that Jake actually did some UFC training.
Yeah. Well, I think if he is so jacked, I wonder if he was doing training as well. Or this.
Maybe. I would hope so.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say right now, he doesn't have like a realistic body for like UFC or boxing. Most boxers and UFC fighters aren't that ripped. To get that ripped,
Oh, okay.
you're doing like weightlifting and
Right.
muscle specific like show
Mhm.
type of lifts, whereas fighters are just fit
Right.
and they're either like the heavyweight, kind of really big dudes,
Mm-hmm.
or they're like kind of chunky monkeys. Like
Right,
me,
yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
heavyweight,
Yes.
right? And they've got good cardio.
Mhm.
They're strong, they're quick,
But
but
they
they
don't
don't necessarily
show it.
look
Yeah.
like ripped as fuck, ready for like on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they intertwined some training into that. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We can hope.
So the next one I got here. Do you know the movie or heard of the movie Parasite?
Yes.
Okay.
Hated that movie.
Okay. I don't know much about it, but I know it won like awards and it's been talked about.
Yeah, it was really, that's what got me to watch it, was everyone
Right.
was like, whoa, Parasite's so good.
Yeah.
I'm a harsh critic.
So this is the same guy, same director
Oh, okay.
of Parasite. So he's from South Korea, starring Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
It's called Mickey 17.
Okay.
Okay. Let me read this little thing for you. An astronaut sent to colonize an icy, faraway planet. The mortality rate is high, so our deep space explorer keeps getting copied. His memories remain intact, however, which causes a good old-fashioned existential crisis. which
Ooh.
I assume is Mickey 17. He's the 17th
17th.
clone or something.
I'm the clone. Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
That does sound cool. It reminds me of like a Groundhog's Day type of thing.
Like the time loop
Yeah.
kind of thing.
What was that one with God, what is his name? I'm fucking blanking. Tom Hanks?
Tom
That time
Hanks
loop.
or Tom Cruise.
Hanks, Tom Cruise. Thank
Not Tomorrow War.
you. No, yeah. I don't know, but Tom
I
Cruise
loved
is in
that
that
movie,
time
though.
loop
Edge
movie.
of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, thank you.
Yes.
Gives me similar vibes to that of like really gruesome and fucked deaths.
But it keeps happening.
And he
Yeah.
remembers and like, yeah, that would be really cool. So I'll say this about Parasite. The reason I didn't like it was the ending.
Yeah.
The ending felt very like different of what we were like watching. Have you seen Parasite?
No.
So the whole time we're watching like this story in and of itself, and then it kind of escalates, and then this isn't really a spoiler because you won't know how it happens, but everyone dies pretty much. A bunch of people die
Right.
at the end of Parasite, and it just feels really out of place of like, wait, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Why did I just watch all of this
Yeah.
just for all of this to happen? So I don't blame the director or anything like that. I can see the vision and everything. I just
Yeah.
didn't personally like it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't deter. Him being the director doesn't deter me
Right.
from wanting to watch that. That sounds really,
That-
really interesting.
Yeah. Seriously.
That sounds like a lot of those time loop movies focus
Mhm.
on like, well, how is he gonna escape and how is he
Mhm.
gonna fix the time loop?
Yeah.
And this is just like, oh yeah, he breaks down.
Yeah.
He hates his life.
Yeah, it almost seems like maybe the point of this one is the goal is kind of clear,
Yeah,
like what he needs to achieve.
but you can't get him to do that because he's like freaking the fuck
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting. That's a good spin on a time loop movie. I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah.
Actually, when does that come out?
That's March 29th. So-
these are coming out soon.
Yeah, they are.
I'm excited
Dang,
for
bro. My wallet.
that. I know. Ugh.
The next one I have on here is Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Okay.
I know Godzilla fans are foaming.
Loyal.
Yeah, they want to get their hands on this movie.
And I know that recently Godzilla got a lot more fans with their recent entry into the series Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
I guess that was like a life-changing movie.
Mm.
I guess so. I didn't watch it, but I know Moist Critical. You know Moist
Yeah, I
Critical.
know. That's critical.
He loved it.
Oh,
It was
okay.
emotionally moving.
Mm.
A lot of people left like crying
Really?
at
Out of
a
a Godzilla movie?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I guess it was really good. Maybe we'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
So that actually it brings a little bit more of excitement for that
Yeah.
movie. But
Slightly more. I don't know. I've always seen Kong and Godzilla as just two big monsters.
yeah,
So
which is my worry, and that's what I think a lot of people were saying that was good about Godzilla -1 is it had just good writing as well as
Mhm.
just being like big monsters.
yeah.
So hopefully they take a lot from that, but
Yeah.
it seems like if it's coming out right now, it could have been a totally different project altogether.
I know, because the other one had to have come out last year, right? Godzilla -1?
2023, yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll have to see.
And
how
fairly, like I think
this
like
one is.
4 months ago came out.
Oh,
Like it was pretty recent, I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure.
well, this one isn't till April 12th,
Yeah.
but that's still not long enough.
So hopefully they knew Godzilla -1 would be a hit
Yeah.
and, incorporated similar things into this one. We'll see. I'm
Mhm.
not the most excited for Godzilla because, like you said, it's just like big creatures
Right.
fucking shit up.
Yeah.
And then at the end, one of them fucks the other one up.
and then they win.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
And then the army comes in and puts a stop to all of it when they
Yeah.
close at the beginning. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not terribly excited for that, but I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. The next one I got on here, Challengers.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you have probably seen the trailer for this.
Maybe.
This is, I'll show you this picture of it.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have.
Zendaya.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a lot of memes about this.
I saw so many memes about this, and that's actually the only reason I know anything about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Holland watching his girl get
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
piercing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the main star of this is going to be Zendaya.
That's cool. She's a great actor. She does good in Dune as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Does
Also
really
in
good.
Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tasha is the next big teen tennis phenomenon. Phenom. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She's also one corner of love She's also in one corner of a love triangle between two male players that only gets more complicated as the trio gets older, people get married, and injuries sidelines once promising careers.
I mean, it sounds interesting enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the trailer alone is like, wow.
Yeah, Zendaya like sleeping with two dudes, pretty much.
Yeah, that's definitely a interesting take to throw in a film.
Yes.
I'm actually surprised Zendaya like said yes, like signed up for that role.
Yeah.
But good for her. I mean, it's really, I'm always happy to see Disney stars branch out and like do good in their career.
Yes, me too.
Bella Thorne on Shake It Up was their co-star on the thing I'm thinking of with Zendaya. And I haven't seen her do nearly as many impactful or impressive things with her career.
Yeah. She's not in Dune.
No. Yeah, anyone not in Dune? Wah. But I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see this. I don't think it's necessarily a movie that's up my alley.
Yeah.
But I think that the idea of it is interesting enough to get me to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I'm like crazy wanting to see, but it's unique. And
yeah. I don't think I can confidently say I don't think I've seen a movie that's like that. That's like almost like I would say like a rom-com, but with like a love triangle.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
And it kind of seems like we've seen sports movies before.
Yeah.
Tons of sports movie.
Yep.
This seems like a little bit more of an adult sports movie because of
Does this have sports?
Yeah, they're tennis players.
Oh, right.
That's
right.
I assume going to be a main plot point.
Yeah. Because they said injuries and shit like that.
Yeah. But also introducing this idea of like being into two people.
Yeah.
With just that trailer we saw.
Yeah. I think it's definitely going to get points in my book for being a creative sports movie.
Me too.
Like The Blind Side. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
That's a sports movie that is amazing. I love that movie. It's really emotional and really good. And it's, I guess I shouldn't talk really any shit on Blind Side because it is a true story, but it does, even though it's a true story, fall into a lot of cliches of like a hero's journey and rise to fame and stuff.
Yeah. Whereas
this is like going to be, I think, on a very personal level. Please don't think I'm talking shit on Blind Side. I love that movie. It's just what came to my head, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have a lot of interesting stuff on it.
Yeah. And you can talk shit on The Blind Side. I guess people criticize that movie specifically because, it's like a white savior role where a white person,
I can see that.
Comes in and solves everything.
You know, so speaking of that kind of thing, where I hadn't even thought of it that way, but that makes sense. I can see the backlash for that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But so I took a Holocaust class. Did you take that class? So
I never got to.
A movie that is regarded as like a cult classic when it comes to Holocaust films is The Boy in Striped Pajamas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. And something that my Holocaust teacher brought up that really kind of shined a light for me. And he was like, I don't like that movie for this reason. The Holocaust is happening for the duration of that movie.
Okay.
And it's not until the little white boy dies that we feel bad. And I hadn't even noticed. But he was like, I don't like this movie because the Holocaust, people are dying this entire time of the film, and we don't feel impact or weight or sadness until the white kid dies. The non-Jew, right?
Right.
And so I don't know. I don't think it was intentional by any means.
Yeah, probably not. But
and just like The Blind Side, I don't think is intentional.
Yeah.
But I can see why, and it makes sense. It's like if you're gonna make a Holocaust movie, make the sad thing the Holocaust.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
That is an interesting criticism.
Yeah. Like Jojo Rabbit is another Holocaust film, and that one is the sad thing is a Jew dying. Like his mom died, and that's very real.
Yeah.
That's something that happened, unfortunately, millions of times.
Yeah.
With the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So I can see the backlash for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is also one this might be one of the most I'm excited, other than Dune, the most original one I'm excited about. It's called Civil War.
Civil or silver?
Civil.
Okay.
Civil War. This is by the same guy who did Ex Machina and Annihilation.
I think I've heard of both of those, but I haven't watched them.
Popular sci-fi movies.
Okay.
This takes place. It's a modern movie taking place. After 19 states secede from the Union, America breaks out into a modern-day civil war.
Hmm.
Just from that,
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I'm
hooked.
so intrigued. There is so much happening in this country right now
Yup.
that I think, like, when Donald Trump ran for office, or when Donald Trump and Joe Biden were being elected for the first time, that was like, oh, we are on a brink of a civil war.
Yes.
This might happen.
That was a pretty interesting feeling as a
Mhm.
young individual in the US was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, people could start dying. If
Yeah.
people get angry enough, people could start killing other people,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's where I was going to go immediately. Was like, this is one of
Yeah.
those movies that could straight up be like, okay, 2053, good morning, class. We're going to watch this movie that depicts what they thought back then would have happened. So that's super intriguing.
Yeah.
And I think that a civil war could totally still break out in America.
Yeah.
I think we're still very divided, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's such a not like an easy concept for a movie, but like so full
So
of possibilities.
relevant.
And so relevant, yes.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot of statements with
Yes.
something like this.
Yeah, you could send a lot of messages out there.
Yeah.
Which, at the end of the day, a lot of movies are propaganda.
Yes.
And like
Right.
getting your voice out there, and a lot of directors use that as a tool to express themselves.
Right.
So, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Can I
And
read the
that's-
summary for this?
Yes. And that's going to be April 26th. So
Oh.
right before my birthday.
I think we're going to be in Vegas, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. So, specializes and but we're not
Yeah. After
Okay,
19
after 19 states secede from the Union, America breaks out into a modern-day civil war. The president, Nick Offerman, seems to be stoking the flames of dissent. The two camps seem to be on very different sides of the ideological defense, and a photographer, Kirsten Dunst, finds herself caught in war zones that used to be major U.S. cities. It sounds like speculative fiction. Yeah, damn
Yeah.
near sounds like speculative fiction. We fear it will soon look more like a documentary. So even Rolling Stone agrees that
Yeah.
this could totally be something that we look back on and like, ooh, this might be
Mhm.
more accurate than we would hope for.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of them being in war zones that used to be major U.S. cities.
I know. Yeah.
That'll
That's
be
something I
really
didn't see there.
that'll be kind of like saddening and scary to see like a war zone depiction of like Los Angeles.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it'll be too.
Yeah, it's
Like
gonna be-
major population centers.
Yeah. So that's really intriguing. I'm
Mhm.
actually pretty damn excited for that.
Yeah. And Nick Offerman is going to play the president. He's in that episode of The Last of Us. I think it's like he's Bill, I think.
Bill. Oh, one of the gay couple?
Yes, one of the gay couple.
Oh, got you.
He's
Bill,
the-
the more serious.
The more burly guy.
Oh,
He-
gotcha.
That's him.
Oh, he's such a good actor.
I know. And as the president, yeah, that's a good role.
Yeah, that's a really good role for him.
Yeah. And Kristen Dunst, she's in a lot.
So I think a lot of people can relate to what I'm about to say. I'm going to go off on that for a second. I showed my parents The Last of Us because I was like, Dad, you're going to love this show. Mom, you'll even like it. So we get introduced to Bill, and he's the type of guy, handyman, fucking preparing for everything.
Yeah.
And I was watching it with my parents, and my mom and me were the whole time. I already knew where this was going.
Right.
We're sitting there going, Dad, you're just like this guy. And you've met my dad.
Yes.
He is very
He is-
similar to that
yes, pretty similar.
handyman, you know?
Mhm.
And we're like, Dad, you're just like this guy. And he was all proud. He's like, yeah, I am like that. I'd be prepared for all this shit.
Yeah.
And then it gets revealed that he's gay and everything, and we see that side.
Yeah.
And my parents being the older generation, my dad had such a
Right.
sour face.
Yeah,
after he's
I
like,
bet.
I'm not like this guy. And I was like, oh my God.
That's
it was
how
just
we met.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But luckily, my parents, towards the end of the day, I did some talking and was like, guys, this is what it means to normalize it. This is
Mhm.
no different than watching a man and a woman fall in love in
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic times.
Seriously.
And they did it so well.
Really.
It wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't.
yes,
Yeah.
they
The
did it.
Last of Us was like. It wasn't interesting because it was gay.
No.
It wasn't the focus point of the story.
Mm-mm.
They just were a couple that
Yeah.
happened to be gay,
Yeah.
and that was phenomenal writing. And that's what
Seriously.
we mean. We talked about it last episode, or actually the episode. No, we talked about it last episode with the downfall of Marvel.
Oh yeah.
We talked about you should write, if you want a strong female lead, write a strong female, not a lead that is strong because she is
She's
female.
a female. Yeah.
And that is what I think, a really good example
Of
of just good writing while they happen to be this thing.
yes.
Because that's what correct normalization should be.
Mm-hmm.
They are the
Exactly.
the same people and the same writing and good storytelling. They just happen to be this.
Right.
That was awesome to see in Last of Us. They did it amazingly. That's
Yeah.
what I want to see.
Me too.
That's Last of Us
too.
was a great show.
I just noticed too. This is an A24 movie. Civil War.
A24.
Um,
Damn, I know they're a huge studio, right?
mhm.
But I don't.
Lighthouse and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything all okay. That's a really good movie too. But Lighthouse, damn.
Yeah.
Lighthouse is another one that was really good.
Yep. Okay. The next one I got up here is The Fall Guy.
Okay.
This is about like it's Ryan Gosling and he's a stunt guy.
Okay. Oh, The Fall Guy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's by David Lynch. He's a director. He's a director.
Sure. Yeah.
Insightful. He did John Wick. I think that's his notable thing.
I haven't watched the John Wick movies, but I'm not gonna sit here and say they're not good.
Right.
They're critically acclaimed. So
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much the reason I had this on this list. I'm curious.
Yeah.
See what it is.
A24, good director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. And that's going to be May 3rd.
May 3rd. Okay, finally getting into some of the later months of the year.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we got a lot of stuff coming, guys.
Seriously. And then the last one I have on here, we have some ones I want to mention.
Sure.
But not for good reasons.
Oh, okay.
The last ones I'm excited about.
Sure, okay.
Actually, I wouldn't say I'm excited about this one.
Okay.
It's called If, which stands for Imaginary Friends. So it's a kids movie.
Oh. Okay.
I think. But the notable thing is it's directed by John Krasinski. Who, do you know who that is?
Is that Jim?
Yeah, from The Office.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
That does make me a little bit more excited for it, honestly.
Mhm.
Quiet was great.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew this. You might have. You're much more of a film buff, but John Krasinski wanted to leave A Quiet Place as a one title thing.
Oh.
And then they were like, please write a second one. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. They're like, okay, we're going to write it without you. And then he was like, no, you're going to fuck up my thing. So then he finally directed A Quiet Place 2, which he did good.
Yeah.
Quiet Place 2 was a sequel. It did really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see another project by John that he wants to do.
Yeah.
That he signed up for,
Yeah.
truthfully.
Yeah.
It being a kid's movie makes me
Yeah.
less excited.
Yeah, me too. But I think I'll probably still see it just to
see his skills. I want to see some of his work.
Yeah, me
He's
too.
really new to the game of directing.
Yeah.
And he impressed me with his pieces.
I really think The Quiet Place was a very unique movie.
And I think A Quiet Place is one of the best horror movies out there right now, honestly.
Me too.
It's so unique in the way that it works, and similar to like Lethal Company, where using lack of audio to create tension is really good. Really,
it's so
really smart.
cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all down for that. What is it about?
All right. It's director John Krasinski's family-friendly fantasy suggests that these pals don't go away once their underage creators are no longer need them around. So the imaginary friends. They're just hanging around, invisible to the naked eye. So that's what it is. Ryan Reynolds is in this, so he's probably going to be the imaginary friend, I'd imagine.
Ryan Reynolds is really good. I'm not going to dog on him. There is definitely a feeling similar to like The Rock with Ryan Reynolds, where it's like he's playing Ryan Reynolds. He's always like the silly, goofy, witty guy.
Yeah.
But Ryan Reynolds is an amazing actor nonetheless. So yeah, excited. That's a big name to get on.
It
hey,
is.
Good on you, John.
Seriously.
For getting such a big name.
I wonder what studio is producing this.
I don't know.
Paramount. So
okay.
Yeah.
So I Paramount produces so much that I can't have an opinion on them, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
There's good movies, there's bad movies by Paramount.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll
Sounds
watch
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, hearing the summary of it actually intrigued me more. It seems like sure it'd be family friendly because it's about like kid friends and stuff, imaginary friends. But it does sound intriguing enough to keep me watching.
Me too.
And that's actually a really cool idea.
That's what I think too. I don't think that's something that's been done.
No,
So,
definitely not.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I mean,
Pretty cool.
Because what else I mean, what do you do? What do they do? You know, if they are real and shit and then they
Right.
stick around, what do they fucking do all day?
Yeah.
Do they get a job? Like,
Yeah. And that one's coming out May 17th.
okay. All right. Another one a little bit later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to be reminded of that one, though. It's not going
Yeah.
to stick in here. Not interesting and quiet enough to.
Yeah. It'll be something that once we see it,
We'll be like, oh, hey.
oh, we could go see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no Dune Part 2, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Those were the ones I think
That
were my
we're gonna
list.
watch.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned A Quiet Place.
Oh, no.
A Quiet Place Day One.
Oh. Who's it
June
directed
28th?
by?
I don't know. Let me look at this. But it's funny that you mentioned that because I didn't know that about Quiet Place Part 2. So the fact that he didn't even want to do a second one and now there's going to be a third.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we don't know much about this latest entry other than the fact that this person and this person are on board, will likely be reprising.
Oh, yeah. Alex
Okay.
Wolff is supposed to be in that.
Yeah.
Who's in Hereditary. And
Oh, does he play the teenager?
Yeah.
I like that guy.
And
He's a good actor.
He's in Oppenheimer, too. But
Yes, he is. He is?
Yeah.
Who does he play? Is he just one of the scientists?
Yeah, he's just one of the
Okay,
scientists.
great.
There's like a million people in Oppenheimer, so
all-star cast for the smallest roles possible
seriously.
in Oppenheimer. Kind of hilarious.
Yeah. And we should do a deep dive on that one.
Yeah. If you
Let
guys want
us
to see us
know.
do,
Yeah.
yes, please, a deep dive on Oppenheimer. I think we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I would. That'd be awesome. Yeah, so it says here it's the prequel to John Krasinski's durable post-apocalyptic thriller series, but it doesn't actually say if he's directing it or not.
Right.
I'm going to talk for a second. You should look that up.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm immediately off-put
Me too.
by hearing about that there's going to be a third one. If it's not directed by John Krasinski, I'm going to make a prediction that it's going to suck fucking cock.
Me too. And
I-
probably trash the Quiet Place
Yeah, name.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll harshen the name, which is unfortunate. I mean, I have hopes that it'll be good. And I'm excited. I'll probably will watch that one
Mhm.
because, like I said, the lack of audio to use tension and everything is really creative and good. But I will say this: I'm more excited for a prequel of Quiet Place than I was for the sequel of Quiet Place, because Quiet Place felt like such a good standalone movie
Yeah.
that when they announced the sequel, I was like, oh, well, that's just like because it was successful, and I
Right.
could tell that it was just that was why they did that. And you do, I think, personally get that feeling in watching A Quiet Place 2 of like, okay, well, this was a really good movie. Now let's end it. Let's
Yeah.
make a sequel and have a solution. And there's an island now, and there's a community that survived. And it felt very like Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like, how else do
It
you
turned
continue?
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, how else do you continue an apocalyptic story? You know?
Right.
So I'm more excited for a prequel
Mhm.
than I am the sequel.
Mhm.
Did you find out who directed it?
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it John?
No, it's
Fuck.
Michael Sarnowski.
Fuck.
You know what he's done?
No.
Me neither.
Fuck.
He's got a bunch of short films he's done
Fuck.
and one other film he's done.
Fuck.
Yeah. So
Oh, Michael,
it's gonna
please don't screw it up.
It's gonna be a FNAF situation.
I think so too. Damn. Why?
Why is that a smart choice? That's what I
Right?
want to know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess every director needs like their big break.
Yeah. Right.
Sure,
I get
I get that. But damn, this is a big fucking project for a big break.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like these people need to be doing the like original
Yeah.
movies first,
Yeah.
and
I
then
would
you
agree.
can take these series. And-
Especially because just knowing it's going to be a different director, it's going to be so hard to incorporate the same ideas, messages, thoughts that John had
right.
because he's not John.
It's yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? Every time I think you switch directors, things are going to be missed
Yes.
by a new director,
100%.
especially that things that like loyal fans of a director or series are like, wait, where the fuck is this? And if he messes up on like lore and stuff, that's going to be big.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and John had a really good attention to detail as well.
Mm-hmm.
In Quiet Place, like you can see there's a lot of like he trusts that the audience watching it is intelligent. And John does do that. Like
Yes.
he
Does not hold your hand.
No, not at all. And I love that. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Letting the audience infer.
Yeah.
That's good storytelling.
Yeah.
When it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And so things like that, I'm really worried aren't going to transfer once you switch a director. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this Michael director. I don't know a damn thing.
Yeah.
So he could be really good.
Yeah. And
Maybe his short films are amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, we'll watch it. We'll have to watch it and see. But damn.
Yeah.
Pretty saddening to hear it's not going to be John.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, though. He didn't even want to do the second one.
Yeah. Then I have some notable ones.
Are these also ones that you're not really excited about?
Well, this first one, Mean Girls. This actually will be out by the time this goes up, but this is not a remake of the original movie. This is the Broadway musical of the movie. I mean, of the original movie, I think.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm not too dissuade. Tina Fey.
Well, I mean, and the big thing of that, the reason for that is that you don't, by nature, hate musicals.
Yes, that's true.
I do. I hate musicals.
Yeah.
You showed me, what was that musical we watched?
La La Land.
La La Land. That was one of the few that I was like, damn, pretty good.
Yeah.
Really, really good, actually.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling kills it.
Yeah.
But that's like it. I think Hairspray and La La Land are the only musicals I could like stomach.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see this one.
I'd watch it with you.
Yeah.
I'd be down to try it again, knowing that you don't hate musicals.
Yeah.
So I'd be down to watch it, but yeah. Man,
Yeah.
that deters me hella.
Yeah. Well, if that deters you, these other ones are
here
not
we go.
better.
Here we fucking go.
But there's a new Ghostbusters movie.
Oh my
Yay,
god.
March 29th.
I have some shit to say about that off the bat.
Go ahead.
Can we let a good series be a good series?
I don't think
same
so.
thing with Quiet Place. Let's let something good stay good.
Yeah.
Stop remaking shit.
Yeah.
Come up with some original shit. Some of the names of the movies on this list have been original ideas, like the one who directed Parasite, Mickey 17. Mickey 17 sounds so original.
That sounds
creative.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So excited. Stop using a worldwide known name to bring in cash.
Seriously.
It's really, really disheartening and is that classic like Hollywood pump out.
That is exactly
type of
what it
shit.
is.
Yeah. And Ghostbusters is such a cult classic. That's such a good like, hey, we've got the fucking family all here for the holidays. Let's watch Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, which one? Do you want the 2017, 2024, the 19 this?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And I think they saw, especially Disney saw what No Way Home did. And look, all three Spider-Men, they're back. And it was a cool movie. I really liked that movie. So I think they saw the success of that and they're like, oh, we can just keep remaking this stuff?
Yeah.
And they like it? Okay.
But they don't realize that it's not going to speak the same volumes as No Way Home did because you're taking something that was thought to be impossible and doing it. It was thought to be impossible that you could get all these three Spider-Men to work together because Tobey Maguire hasn't been Spider-Man for a fucking 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Andrew Garfield was part of Sony, and they are strict little fucks. And Tom Holland is part of Marvel, which is a different thing.
Yeah, completely.
It was thought to be undoable. And then they did it. And it's like, what? Mixed in with, like, obviously the nostalgia and everything.
Right.
It's not going to be the same thing. And I actually hope that this Ghostbuster film flops.
Me too.
So that they stop fucking up the Ghostbusters name.
Yeah.
It just brings out heat in me.
I'm glad you said that because that actually prefaces all the ones I'm going to mention.
Oh, here we go. God.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
How many of those are there? Like 8?
There's got to be. This has to be, I think, the 4th of the new ones.
I was going to say there's more than 4.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
I will say one thing about the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
The tech nowadays. Now we've got apes that look great when they talk. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I have heard decent things about those movies in general.
Okay.
That they're not like bad storytelling.
Okay. Then that one is one I actually don't know much about at all.
Yeah.
So I'll not be as harsh on that one.
Yeah, me neither. And that's one that, like as the tech gets better, you can really lock it in and be like, here's what we wanted to do back then. But like Ghostbusters, it's not a serious movie. Like the ghosts aren't meant to look good.
Yeah.
it actually has brings a lot of the charm that the green goo is like
Is-
a shitty fucking prop.
right.
You know? Yeah. So, and also I like the message of the Planet of the Apes of like, yeah, when you keep animals in captivity and like train them and shit, like they're gonna fuck you over.
Right. Yeah. I
So-
forgot that was kind of the message of the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that, but I haven't seen the new ones, so
Me neither.
I don't
So
know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to by default because I haven't seen them. Put it under the same category, like you're saying, of
Yeah.
like, quit pumping this shit out.
Yeah.
Think of something new.
Yeah.
It's like the Fast and Furious films.
Seriously.
Honestly, if
dude.
you ask me, when Paul Walker died, should have been the end of the series.
Yeah. 100%.
In respect to him, that was his biggest role.
Yeah.
You should have fucking cut that off.
Yeah.
I really think so. And it's just like, oh well, our main guy that a lot of people loved unfortunately died, but we're still gonna make that money.
Oh,
Like that's
yeah.
fucked.
Yeah.
You know, and it just shows the greed of Hollywood when you keep pumping shit out and it gets so deterred from what it's actually about.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious was supposed to be like a car head movie.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, I got the fucking B12 in this bed and fucking meh. And now it's like, Don, if you don't jump over the 12-story fucking building with your
Yeah.
car, you're gonna die.
No,
Huh?
I'm pretty sure the last one they went to space or some shit.
Oh, I think I
Dead
heard that too.
ass.
That's so like,
That's wild.
what
are
we
y'all doing?
Yeah,
This is a car movie.
Fast and Furious in space.
Oh.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So I won't harsh on Planet of the Apes as much, but I'm gonna put it in the same category.
yeah. Bad Boys 4. I'm pretty sure that's gotta. When was the third one? That had to have been.
Fairly recent. I know. It
Oh,
was.
you think?
Not fairly recent. It was like years ago,
Yeah.
but it was a modern movie. It wasn't bad, but it was just a retelling of Bad Boys.
Yeah.
I actually watched that one, and like I said, it wasn't awful, but it you could tell it was like a story done over again. Just leave it.
Just leave it. Yeah.
Let it be a cult classic. Bad Boys is such an iconic, like, yo, you ever heard of the Bad Boys? No. Well, have you heard this? Bad Boys. Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
sure. Yeah, I've
yeah.
heard that. Let it be its thing. Let it be this like spirit or entity that's just like legacized.
Exactly.
Let
Yeah.
it be its own thing.
Like, I just think, especially in something like Bad Boys, they're like cops, right?
Yeah, they're cops. Yeah,
What
not
can
a
you do
good
with
look
that?
right
Like,
now.
Anything.
Even politically, a lot of people
yeah.
aren't on the police's or the cops like side,
Right.
which I'm not going to give my view on that.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's just too political
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. But a lot of people don't like him right now.
I know.
So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. There's probably like, if we're getting to the point where we're like receiving criticism on Blindside for like white savior and stuff, good luck making a cop about movies.
A movie about cops.
Yeah. Whoops. Good luck making a movie about cops. Because
Yeah.
right now that's a political fucking
Yeah.
death wish.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see how it goes.
But I'm pretty sure those are just like, they're not serious movies.
no,
are
no,
they?
they're
So,
action.
Yeah.
There's nothing crazy to them, which is exactly why it's like, why keep making them?
Yeah.
Just make a new movie that's action. Like there's one that is coming out with Jason Statham, that is like your classic just action movie. This dude is like a badass
Yeah.
and kills shit.
I think I know what one you're talking about.
Beekeeper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not really that original, but hey, it's
Mhm.
got a different fucking name.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's like it's
Fucking-
the same as like Equalizer. Like
Yeah.
the Beekeeper will be no different than like Equalizer,
Mhm.
but it's got a fucking different name at
Yeah.
least.
And it's not the same universe or anything.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
At least give the main character a new fucking name.
Exactly.
Think of something. Come on.
Seriously.
If you're gonna make pump outs, fine. Put a little bit of work into it.
Yeah.
Not just
That's what I
hey,
think.
let's recast this and reshoot it. Whoop, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's just a disservice to people like you and me, like movie buffs. Like
yeah.
we want to watch good fucking content, and they're not producing it.
Mm-mm.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. And not to beat a dead horse,
Holy
but
shit.
Inside Out 2.
At least that's like it was an original idea, and they're making a sequel. I can't tell people like or can't expect directors and shit to not make sequels.
Yeah,
So fine.
I guess. But I do think, I'm pretty sure Pixar was the studio who created that. And they do really creative things. So for them to recycle something is kind of lame.
Yeah,
And it's going to be
I
bad.
can agree with that.
But
Yeah.
everything Disney does now is bad. So
On that note,
Mhm.
there is one thing that Disney's doing that I'm really excited for.
okay.
And I'm gonna say one sentence, and it came straight from the trailer, and I think it'll get you hooked as me. It is quote unquote their most intense series yet. And they're finally reviving Kingpin from the original Daredevil. Not the original, but the Netflix series Daredevil. That guy who played it. Have you seen that Daredevil?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay, yeah. He's the best Daredevil or Kingpin we've seen.
Yeah, I think he fits that role perfect.
Yeah, he's
he
amazing.
Is Kingpin.
Yeah, so they're bringing him back. They're bringing Daredevil back. And in just the trailer, I saw like a dude get his mouth slit open, a dude get 7 shots in the back,
cool,
a neck getting snapped.
That's what we
in like a jiu-jitsu position. Yeah, it was like, oh, I think maybe Disney's catching on to like the finally people being like, yeah, all this kiddie shit, we don't want that shit. We're fucking 30 years old now.
Yeah.
We want intense shit.
Yeah,
and so it's only 5 episodes, but yeah. They're bringing it back, which is amazing news because I loved the Daredevil series on Netflix, and then Disney bought Marvel,
right?
And they canceled it, you know, for the 3rd season and everything, and it was like, no,
yeah.
So, but they're bringing it back, and it's just as intense and gory and shit as the Daredevil series on Netflix.
Nice.
So, hey, good on Disney for that.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Seriously.
Well, we'll have to watch that one.
Yeah. Probably.
But I think that about brings us to the end.
Yeah, I think that wraps us up.
So that's only the first half of the year.
Yeah, that is the first half of the year.
So we've got a lot of good shit coming out.
Seriously.
And some not so good shit.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys are excited for. And if we miss any movies, again, let us know down below.
Yeah.
But this has been BMF Radio, guys. We thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next Saturday. I am Frankie.
I'm Billy.
And thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.
Cool.